Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning. I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade, and I've held every single job except selling popcorn. I'm joined, as always, by my friend, early to podcast compatriot, White Sox fan.
Yes. Much so. Charlotte Knights fan.
Charlotte Knights fan.
Yeah. I'm wearing all my sports shirts today.
Wearer of tattoos.
Made a mistake on those.
Made a mistake.
Yeah, those are all.
Regretter of tattoos.
Regretter
of tattoos. Zane Riley. Zane, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. So last night I wrestled a veteran, a Hall of Famer of the show, if you will.
Okay.
The Warrior himself, Buff Bagwell.
Oh, okay. All right.
During it, he's like, yeah, just, talk trash to me or whatever. So during my trash talk during the match, I screamed out, Day of the Warrior was an awful movie.
Oh.
And you're a terrible actor. And
How did you react?
Before we went out there, I was like, hey, man, I'm going to talk shit about Day of the Warrior because I fucking love that movie.
Okay.
And he was like, all right. Like, he didn't even remember he did the movie.
Yeah, that was my hope for Buff Bagwell. Forgot that.
Yeah, totally did. And then, like, I said something during the show, and he's like, "Okay, man, whatever." And then just said something about his mom, and surprised your mom didn't call out this match for you. And then we were kind of off on the run.
Did you call out? Delicious! Bring me more.
No, I did not.
Oh, you missed out on a golden opportunity, my friend.
But yeah, I was like, "Hey, man, I really like that movie." He's like, "Okay." All right, man. Fuck me then. I'll catch you later. You tell me your match.
Yeah.
And then later in the show, I took a double clothesline from him and Scott Steiner. So I got beat up by the NWO last night.
Ooh.
And when they both whipped me off, I just screamed out, "This is the greatest day of my life!" I don't know if anyone heard me or got what I was saying, but yeah, so that happened.
That's your delicious. Bring me more.
Yes, this is the greatest day of my life.
I haven't done anything with Scott Steiner, so you're ahead of the game.
Step up,
man.
hey
Step
man.
Up. So Kevin Nash was there, so that was my version.
You mean new big time wrestling heavyweight champion Kevin Nash?
I'm very happy to see that.
Man,
so
I didn't know. Somebody's check on Flex Armstrong. I didn't know he could lose that belt. I thought he just owned that belt, and that was kind of the deal.
Yeah, I thought he paid for it.
Yeah, like he purchased this.
Yeah, more power to him.
Yeah, good on him.
But we're kind of leaving our guest in the background. And
hey
stuff
guys!
Like that.
He's still waiting to say the days of the week.
I didn't know that you already done your sound stuff. I was like,
he did it while
Monday,
we were just talking.
Tuesday.
And then while we were talking, we took it from that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a professional, and I'm also next to a professional comedian and a professional in business and life.
Oh, man.
And probably a professional podcast guest, because now this is your second appearance on How This Get Booked. Bryan Penn, how are you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back.
How many other podcasts have you done?
Have I done mine?
Okay.
About 4 of those.
Okay.
Yeah, Settlers of
so
Comedy.
we're 50%, you would say, of your podcast? Well, no, it'd
4
be
of mine and
4
2
and
of
6,
yours.
7 and 6, and then
a third.
So more of a third.
We're more of a third.
Yeah, we're third.
A quarter.
33%.
Because I've done 8 podcasts, including this one. And I've done 2 of them have been yours.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, that is 6. You're right, a third.
Jesus fucking Christ. We're both bad at math. Not professional mathematicians.
No, magicians.
Or magicians. We're not professional mathematicians or math magicians.
Magicians. It's an imaginary number. No. Where did it come from?
Isn't that what a remainder is? Imaginary number?
Pull it out from behind your ear.
Exactly.
Boom.
It's got a negative and an I.
Yeah, like as much as that remainders were a big part of my life as a childhood, I thought that'd be like a big part of my adulthood. Remainders, not a big part of my life right now.
They're a huge part of your life. You just use a calculator and it does all of it for you.
Yeah.
Just round that shit up.
Yeah, or down.
Or how you want to do it.
No more remainders. So
kids,
no more remainders remain.
Don't worry so much. And don't worry so much about quicksand.
Yeah.
Neither of are
quicksand?
important.
Yeah.
You're not going to run into them.
No.
Quick mud, though. I mean, that's still out there.
That's still there.
Yeah.
Be feared of that.
Way worse than quicksand. Stains everything.
But what's a big part of our life? I'm gonna start putting this at the front of the show because since you're a professional podcaster, you know how hard it is to get reviews onto your podcast and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Well, listeners, how did this get booked? You've been killing it. I put the challenge down for everybody that writes a review on Stitcher or iTunes. You get a free T-shirt. And it's not at the point that I've regretted that decision, to let you know. So we've been sending out some T-shirts this week. I think most of the people that are on this list that I'll announce here right now come start putting it at the top of the show because I'm putting it as a priority. because mailing out the T-shirts is at a top of my priority list. As soon as I got back from New York, Connecticut, and Florida, the first thing I did is made sure that I mailed all the T-shirts for all those people that emailed me and also to DM me, which some of you were complaining that, like, hey, I can't DM you because you don't follow me, but there are people that don't follow me that still, people that I don't follow that have still DM'd me, so I don't know how Twitter works.
Yeah.
But either way, you can either DM...
Not a professional tweeter.
Not a professional tweeter. That's exactly...
Or professional tweener.
Tweener. No, definitely not. People definitely have an opinion about me. People definitely have an opinion about me, especially most people have an opinion about the show we're going to be discussing. But like I said, we got to give nod to all the people that wrote reviews, and I thank you so much for all of that. We've got a lot of them, actually, Zane. We've got... I'll start with Stitcher. At the top of the heap for a while was Dead Trees and Caffeine. He's now the former champion of Stitcher. And we have 3 new reviews on Stitcher from Bromer, I believe is his name. And then Vry Kolaka was another review. I think his name is Dave Holmes or something Holmes.
Where did you get?
You mean like former MTV VJ Dave Holmes?
Maybe, but I mailed the T-shirt out to Holmes with a similar email screen name. But right now, Stitcher champion is SpongeCake 7. SpongeCake 7 is at the top of the heap for Stitcher right now, and I know I sent a shirt out to SpongeCake and Vry Kolaka. Bromer, I don't know if I got one to you or not, or people's screen names and Twitter names and email names are all different. But like I said, either DM me on Twitter or even Instagram. I slide into the DMs all the time.
I live there.
Like I said, so I don't think I need to follow you to DM me. I don't, like I said, don't know how it all works, but I do know how reviews work, and they do help with the algorithm on everything, especially on iTunes, which our former champion on iTunes was Matt Campbell 32. Then all of a sudden we had Gerard, 3 R's, 3 T's. So he's J-U, triple R, A, triple T. Just to let you know, thank you, Gerard, for a review. But right now, at the top of the heap on iTunes is Leroy Mac 61. So I think it's Liri. So I think it's Leroy. I think it's Leroy. I'll call him Leroy Mac. That sounds like.
You automatically went with him having an urban voice. That's good.
Well, he does. Come on.
Was that an urban voice?
Yeah.
I didn't get urban.
Yeah, I got it.
I got like good old boy.
Good old boy.
Yeah, because I imagine like a Matthew McConaughey individual named Leroy who wears Levi's all the time, so they just called him Leroy.
Oh, Leroy.
Okay.
Yeah, go Leroy.
Good old Leroy.
All right.
All right, Leroy.
But thank you for writing the reviews. I think I've sent T-shirts out to most of you. If I have not, like I said, DM me on Twitter and Instagram at ManScoutManning or email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. And please keep up the reviews. Not tired of mailing out the shirts.
Nope.
I'm not regretting this decision so far yet. Because people ask, I'm like, hey, are you still doing that? Yes, I'm still doing it. I'm not regretting it so far. So we're going to keep that going. Every time you write a review on Stitcher and iTunes, I will mail you a free T-shirt after you DM me or email me your street address and your T-shirt size. So I'm putting it at the top of the show to make it a priority to let people know that we need reviews to help that algorithm to get to the top of the heap. So that way when people download something to wrestle with, How Did This Get Book pops up. That's just how we have to do it. So... sorry to delay.
So Conrad, if you want to pop a little word in about us on your podcast, that's cool too, man.
Yeah, I might even buy sponsorship time on that.
Works both ways, yeah.
Works both ways, buddy. Works both ways. I know you've said How Did This Get Booked on your podcast, but you didn't say podcast at the end of it. Just say podcast.
Throw our names out there with it.
Yes, right there. But without any more delay, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. And first of all, let me apologize. Not just for listing off all the reviews and delaying our talk, but I apologize. I thought the new WWE pay-per-views were much shorter than 3 hours.
Yeah. 3.5.
They're longer. Turns out.
They're longer. And Brian, the last episode we did with you, I think you saw a 90-minute show?
Which is what I thought this was going to be.
You saw a 90-minute show, and then you saw another 90-minute show.
Yeah. Well,
and then some of another.
That was the thing, too. I knew this would be a little bit longer. That's why I messaged you last night. Like, hey.
Right.
I messaged you last night. I was like, hey, have you seen the show yet? And it wasn't till 10 hours later you're like, yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Because it took me 10 hours to watch this goddamn thing.
Have you seen the show yet? I'm like, all right, let me pull it up. 3 hours and a half. Jeez, I'm going to break this up. So I woke up at 8 a.m. today I was like, all right, and just in the bed with the laptop, like, let's watch the rest, and sent you a prompt yup as soon as I was done.
Was it a disgustful yelp, or was it a...
It was just like, my brain's dead, I need to just, yep, all right, I can move on with my morning.
Yes, so we can talk about what we are talking about today is something very, very current. This is new for us.
This year.
Yeah, this year. A few months ago, WWE Backlash 2018. The show took place in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. And attendance for the show was 14,724 people. It took place in May 6th of 2018. This is actually the 14th Backlash in the series, which is surprising because I vividly remember the first Backlash, so I feel old as shit. Yep. This is one of the first dual-branded pay-per-views since 2009, and if you didn't know that, they'll remind you multiple times on this show.
100 times.
Every one of those.
This took place...
I didn't watch it with sound.
This took place just 9 days after the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and just before TakeOver in Chicago and Money in the Bank. If you're about pay-per-view chronologically, the pre-show match was Ruby Riott versus Bayley, which we do not see on this program, but just let that know so you get all the particulars on this show. And I think me and Zane both agree this was our newest.
Minus
the last wrestling show we saw before this was WrestleMania. So we're not...
Which last WWE wrestling show that I saw before that was, I believe, the previous WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't keep up with the current product, and that'll kind of lead into match number one. Part of the reason I don't pay attention to the current product is because it depresses the shit out of me. Not because of what's going on in the ring. What's going on in the ring is fantastic and wonderful and great, and all the matches are great, but they include people who are my friends, people who I have shared locker rooms with, and people that at one point in time I saw as peers, but now you are international superstars while I am doing a podcast in a room
talking about you
that is hot as shit.
Full of X-Men and
covered in Cyclops.
Covered in Cyclops on my wall, and I'm barely just keeping a roof over my head, and I just got back from wrestling.
Like right over your head, too.
Yes. I just got done wrestling in Newark and Connecticut, and then immediately drove down to Florida after driving in New York and Connecticut. So I drove 3,000 miles for maybe a couple $100. So yeah, it kind of depresses me, especially the people in match number one, which contains The Miz versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, I wrestled him at Don's Pub in Donahue, Iowa, in front of 60 people. And I remember at the time, like, it was just a little bit before he got trained by Danny Daniels, or it was right at the beginning of all that. And I'd had a little bit of training. It wasn't quite the best. It's not the training that I got with George South, but it was training nonetheless. And I remember I was kind of the veteran in that sense. Like, I was calling some stuff, and I remember...
Come on, kid.
I remember it was the time I was trying something out as a heel, because the 10 German suplexes from Benoit was real popular, and I was like, well, maybe as a heel, like the heel version of that, what if I took somebody's move or took some sort of move 10 times in a row? So I remember taking 10 body slams from Tyler Black at Don's Pub in front of 60 people. But I remember it was a pretty good match, and I think I was one of the people that took that small package brain buster that he used to do for a while.
Yeah,
I was like,
driver.
I remember him doing that to... I think it was Shane Altman. I forget what he's called in AAW. We called him Sugar Shane. And who was my first match? Shane Hollister, I think, was what he ended up being. I remember he was one of the first guys to take it. And then I remember Seth Rollins was like, hey, do you think you could take it? And I think I took it, and I took it okay, but I remember being scared as shit.
I bet.
Because Shane Hollister was much smaller than me at the time. But yeah, I just, I remember him. And Seth has always been super nice to me every time I've seen him, especially like I remember an Evolve show he just showed up to, and we had a nice conversation about like Iowa and how much we miss it. And then he bought a ring from us, and then I was talking to him at backstage when I was doing extra talent work, and I remember he had to go film something with Jericho, so he was in a little bit of a rush, but gave me enough time. He didn't blow me off. And he was just like, hey, it was just after his knee injury, and it was just good to see him. He's always been super cool and super nice to me. And when I see him in this match in front of 14,000 people, he seems like a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's what I've always, when I see Seth Rollins on a poster or an action figure in Walmart or on a pay-per-view or at WrestleMania, I just associate, that's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, seeing this pay-per-view and thinking, because I'm very much in the feels right now.
Yeah.
I'm very much in the feels right now. Seeing him on this pay-per-view
He's emotional.
makes me go, oh my God, that's the same person. Oh my God, my life is fucking horrible.
I should be there too.
I am not doing well. And he's doing fantastic. So
His eyes are actually watering up for listeners.
yeah, it's sweat. It's sweat because this room does get very hot.
It's eye sweat.
It's eye sweat. But yeah, so there is a little bit of that. So I try and keep the bitterness, the anger, and the bad feelings in the closet. That closet right there, if you're curious, right there.
If you want to know where that door went, it's my feeling closet.
That's my feelings closet. I try to keep it in there, and I think in my mind I've always, like I said, just related him as a completely different person because of that. So I try and put all that away and be happy for him because he's definitely a nice person and deserves every bit of it. So, but yeah, this was probably the first time in the time that he's been in WWE where I've connected to like, oh, that's the same person. That's Colby Lopez. Like I was like, oh gosh, I've just always seen you as a completely different person. Oh my gosh, this is the same person.
Yeah.
Who I knew at Don's Pub in Donahue, Ohio. So a lot of emotions right away.
Yeah, I can tell. Looks like you're about to cry.
But luckily though, we've got 3 hours to go, and we have to discuss it right now. And we're already 60 minutes in. So, what were your thoughts on this first match?
Well, I'll start by saying this might be my third televised pro wrestling thing watching ever. The first one being research for the podcast that was on before this. It took me a while to figure out what WWE Backlash 2018 meant. I thought it was like a Me Too thing, because just I didn't know, like it's like Backlash. I thought it was gonna be a bunch of like news, means
Gene Okerlund talking about all the wrestlers that fucked up.
Yeah.
That's what you thought it was?
Not fucked up, but like it was doing bad stuff, and I was like, oh, it's not that clearly. And then maybe halfway through the show, I'm like, there was a big event before this, I bet. And this is
only the greatest Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah, the two biggest things ever.
That's what I was picking up on. I think this is a result of
This is the backlash of all those.
That's a cool idea. It's like it took a while. At about the 1.5 minute hour mark is where I picked up on that. So that was my first impression. I noticed it was at like a football stadium or something. I'm like, this is a bigger deal than the last show. Clearly.
Yeah. Which was like RCW, RWA, or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
In a rec center somewhere.
It was definitely in a rec center. They had to save it at one point.
It wasn't at the Prudential Center.
No.
It might have been in New Jersey, though.
Yeah,
it might have been in Jersey. So. But,
you were talking about the first two guys to come out. I didn't have a lot of notes about Seth Rollins. When The Miz came out, he came out first. And his outfit, what he's wearing. See, these are things, you're going to be talking about a whole lot of wrestling moves and histories. I won't be able to relate to that.
That's fine. I don't want you
to.
I
can relate
That's why
sweet-ass ring jacket.
Right. I can relate to what
here.
celebrities these people look like to me.
Okay.
And to bring it into my life. I saw The Miz, and he looked like if you took Chun-Li and I couldn't come up with the guy who you combined with Chun-Li.
The Cage guy.
Cage guy.
Was Johnny Cage?
Imagine if you took Chun-Li and Johnny Cage and
yeah.
put them together. Because of it was like a gown that he was wearing. That was what I had there. And then they started fighting. And I'll give it to this whole production, way harder to make fun of than the last one.
Yeah, turns out millions of dollars will do that for you.
You don't have ring aprons.
Not impossible, but
yeah. But they don't have ring aprons that change that are LED screens and ring poles that are LED screens.
Yeah. Well, in fact, the last one was so easy to make fun of, it became hard again. Like making fun of Sharknado. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, though, it's where I'm at.
Right.
What did I expect to do any differently?
Yeah. So I was just like, all right, let's try it. Let's give it its shot.
Here we go.
But did you enjoy the action and all that?
The action, all that? Well, I was gonna. Okay, so as an overview, a brief summary, a TLDR.
Give it to me.
There were one or two moments where I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just like, why would anyone, I don't know. Oh, you know, like two moments of that. I was like, good gracious. Oh, you know, like captivated or something. And I even had moments of like, you know what? This would be really cool if it were actually happening. So cool, in fact, that I'm going to switch off, you know, the thinky parts so I can just enjoy this. You know, suspension of disbelief.
Which you're supposed to do with pro wrestling, because you're probably looking at like, oh, these guys choreographed it.
Right. Well, I mean, like, as the show progressed, and it took me a while to realize that this would probably happen, you have your wrestlers in the beginning who maybe aren't the best in the world, and then you lead up to your more talented, skilled wrestlers at the end. I was like, oh, okay, because I'm judging these guys like the standard of pro wrestling. The Miz and, you know, those two guys was like what all of it is. And I'm like, ah. But then once we get on, I'm like, oh, this is what it could be. All right, maybe. But I guess the only time where suspension of disbelief was very difficult is when people are getting thrown into a clearly foam wall and are hurting from that. I'm like, I really want to, but like make it look hard at least. Like put some stone spray paint or I don't know, like something.
A little bit of set design, guys. Come on.
So, like it's clearly I've ran into a foam wall before just for shits and giggles, you know, like just.
What padded rooms have you been in, Bryan Penn?
It was middle school. We all did it, but then there was one moment.
We did?
Yeah, you guys did. Where someone got thrown into, like, the steel stairs. I was like, that probably sucked. Okay, yeah, all right. You know, cool. So there were ups and downs. And I got more specific things that I'll remember when we get to them. But, like, it was like, all right, they're trying. All right.
Good job, kid. Good job. Do you know who The Miz is?
Somebody who was living with us, he came up and he was like, I know that guy. I didn't know that guy.
You
but
know
he's
that
like, he's like, that guy was... He was on The Real World, wasn't he? And I was like, beats me because I didn't watch that show either. It's like, no, I swear, look it up, dude. I was like, I could, and you could be right. It's not going to do much for me.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could just say you're right if you want.
But, so, apparently he was on The Real World.
He was on The Real World.
Okay. Was he a wrestler before then?
No.
Oh.
He just talked about how he always wanted to be a wrestler on that show.
Oh, how
and
nice.
then he became one. Followed his dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was already over, so you could get a job very easily. So.
Yep. He already did it.
What are your thoughts, Zane?
Man, this match was fucking amazing.
You're damn right it is.
You know, I'm kind of give or take on Seth Rollins. I know he's a fantastic worker. But The Miz is going to be one of the best heels of all time. I was thinking that when he was main event Mania with John Cena years and years and years and years ago. He is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, The Miz is always my example of, like, what a real heel is. Mm-hmm. Nobody fucking likes that guy.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't do insanely over the top exuberant shit.
Yeah.
He is a crowd worker and a good bump guy, and he's there for everything, and everything he does looks so smooth and effortless. It was so smooth and effortless. At some points, I was like, these guys are just moving in the slowest of motion. Mm-hmm. But, it's so fucking good. I'm surprised they gave this match so many falsies right away. Well, and it's the longest match on the card.
I was surprised that people were buying the falsies because I've always... I grew up...
Okay, so like when they hit like their big finishing move, or like a real big move, and like at 2 3/4 they kick out real big.
Okay, so
where the crowd goes, oh,
like they did that throughout the whole. There was I counted. There was one time where someone kicked out before 2.5. Mm-hmm. Once it happened once, and it was like the last fight I think, or the second to last. So it was like this. It was just like 1, 2. He kicked out.
Yeah.
100 times.
Oh yeah.
To the point where you see the ref like not even just like 1, 2. And
you're kicking out. You know what's up here.
Yeah. So,
but like people were buying like things that like we know the curb stomp and we know the skull crushing finale. Mm-hmm. Those are their finishing moves. So you think if you're gonna win a title match, it's gonna be one of those moves. So if I don't see that move, I shouldn't care about the 2 count.
Exactly.
But that's not the way this crowd was. Yeah. So, but this crowd was just buying cross bodies.
Yeah.
Roll-ups.
Which was real fucking cool. Like that roll through deadlift deal.
Yeah. So like all of that stuff. Yeah. So I was writing like, do these guys like finish matches without their finishers on a regular basis?
That's why people
like is this what they're doing now?
You're gonna bring the hip toss back as a finisher?
Or is this just a really good fucking crowd? Like,
bro, great crowd.
Yeah. So
during this match, like later in the show, the crowd just kind of gets like, all right, we've been here for 3 hours. Like, could we kind of get on with this?
No.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like AJ, but come on, hurry up.
Yeah,
he gets into that territory later.
Yeah, it definitely.
But no, like, start off, they're hot as shit, and this match is great, and it's a fantastic opener. really surprised about just how much they gave him there at the end, as far as like, I can kick out of that, and then do this, and then kick out of that. Like, I'm so surprised that much was okayed. But phenomenal match. It's the best match on this whole card.
Well, I think that's sometimes with, like, pay-per-views, they usually have a really strong opener that goes 15 to almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I think, like, Dolph Ziggler versus Rey Mysterio at a WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, SummerSlam was, like, the first time I kind of noticed it. I was like, oh, shit, they're giving these guys a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
And, like, and ever since then, I think they've done that, or even before that. But that was, like, the first time I noticed it, and that was, like, back in 2009. So I think that's always been the standard, that first match in the pay-per-view, especially now with the network, where people, it's not like buying a pay-per-view. It's just on a streaming site that you can come and go and leave from.
Yeah.
You want to leave with something strong, so people like stay and
So
continue
they
on.
don't leave. They
don't
watch
leave the
thing.
stream, because you could just click over to Netflix just as easily.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that demand.
I think for this is the first match where there were like a lot of leg locking things were happening. Okay, so that was a moment, like, to get into it. I think also in this match there was some head slammy thing where I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? I was just like, all right, whoa, like, that was intense. And, like, I guess with, like, they're locking legs. I think finger hold or something.
The figure four.
Yeah, something was happening. And he's like, he's got this guy. He's like, ah! But now he's got this guy. He's like, ah! But now they got each other. Like, ah! And I'm like, what? This is crazy. And then there's, like, twisting and turning and all that stuff. And I was like, okay.
You've never seen someone reverse a figure four that long.
Yeah.
They were in that reverse. They were in that figure four forever.
But the crowd was buying every bit of it.
Exactly.
So milk that as long as possible.
I bought it,
Which becomes a very occurring thing. There was a bunch of work in throughout the whole show. Like, when we get a little bit later, it's like, man,
I fell asleep.
we could just like cut some of this out, and we could still have our 3-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, they're chanting CM Punk right now. We can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
We can go.
Maybe we don't get it again.
Yeah, maybe we don't get it.
And that guy's suing his friends. I mean, that guy's getting sued by his friends because he's a dickweed.
I guess. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly,
because that's how this whole problem started.
Sorry.
I was not putting allegedly in front of it.
I noticed how effective the backhand slap is in pro wrestling. It's incredibly effective. I mean, wow.
I mean, it's effective in real life. You just
to the
backhand
face,
somebody.
maybe, but like to the torso?
Oh, like the whole...
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I feel like I could take a backhand slap from most individuals. I won't want
to find out, kid?
Man, I walked by one of those dumb shits I was at a show the other day. Not to cut off this train of thought.
No, that's okay.
But talking about, like, we were just, hey, you want to get one? I was fucking at a show, and there was a couple workers in the back giving a fan chops. And like, I was walking by, like, Zane, you want to give him a chop? Yeah, man, give me a chop. No, you're all fucking pathetic. And just stormed off.
Correct answer.
Man, I hate the fans, not so much, because of course they want that, but like for the workers and the boys to be doing that just to beat the shit out of somebody, motherfucker, I wish you'd hit me that hard in the ring. I'll kill you. I'll eat your yeah, you guys are pathetic.
Exactly.
When I say that,
I love the two dudes that did it. I love the two guys that were doing it. I was real upset it was them.
I don't say that, I could take a backhand to the torso. I don't say that to be really badass.
Now you're backing off.
Yeah.
I say it as I'm viewing this for like a film or a show or something. Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, of course.
My brain, the survivey part's like, nah, dude, I don't think there's danger here. I think you're fine. Like it's a very primal thing. It's not like, whatever, man. Like,
well, the idea of it, or the psychology of the idea is give you a shot to the stomach to like create the distance here. They're crushing them up against their chest, create that distance, get a little air, and then knocking the air out of them was what's going to bounce them back.
Yeah, all the elbows in the face, anything that involved more than a backhand slap.
Yeah.
Just it hurts your feelings more than anything else. Like it crushes you.
This motherfucker just slapped me.
Yeah, I don't take that.
That shit stings. Come the fuck on.
You're not my mom or my.
Whoa, what? We gotta get going.
Yeah, we'll move right along.
Allegedly.
I'll stupid before we move on with this match. Seth Rollins has got a very Devon Storm-ish type gear. Devon Storm from 1995, 1996. Look it up, and then look at Seth Rollins' gear from Backlash 2018. It might be the same thing. So look that up if you're interested. But we got to keep moving right along.
It's been a lot of time in that one. It's
Speaking
been a long ass.
Yes, we got a long way to go. Yeah. And speaking of your mom, we've got a match based on anti-bullying. So
I laughed so hard during the PSA.
During the PSA for Alexa Bliss.
In an eye for an angel, as she's talking about. Yeah. This woman, and she took the food and gobbled it down. I was like, oh God.
Which
get about bullying, body shaming.
Yeah, we get it all in here in this match. A whole range of emotions. The match number 2 is Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship.
Can I ask what your opinions are of these two individuals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both are great. Not in this particular showing. I think Alexa Bliss is phenomenal. I think Nia Jax is a big girl that can fucking move and knows what she's doing. She's related to The Rock. Or The Rock or Snoop Dogg?
No, Rock. That's Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks related to Snoop Dogg.
It's either The Rock or Snoop Dogg.
They're the same person. Okay, look.
Yeah.
She's related to The Rock. Assuming that's how she got there, but she's definitely shown that she belongs there. She's a very good, hard worker. This match did not, I don't feel, display a whole bunch of that. More so in Jax's end. Just with the... she was a little clunkier than normal. She has a lot more of a flow, but yeah, I mean, I still think they're both fantastic workers.
Well, Alexa Bliss, they've put her in multiple positions, and I haven't seen that much of her work, but she's obviously been placed as a woman that's held the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship, so they have a lot of faith and belief in her. And every match that I've seen of her has been very good, as she's played her part very well. Good heel. She probably beats up Nia Jax a lot more than she probably should.
Definitely.
But you're trying to tell this anti-bullying story because that was something that came out of Nia Jax's title win.
Yeah.
You know, WWE's trying to be more positive and not anti-bullying, which is the complete opposite of what WWE has been known for when it comes to female wrestlers. And that's
I didn't even know that, but I was like, this smells like BS.
well, that's the thing that when I think of Nia Jax, I kind of it's a mixed bag with me. I appreciate right at the top. I appreciate that they are doing this. They are finally doing this. Yeah. But there is a small part of me that thinks back to some of the stories that I've heard from female wrestlers over the years, and the just disgusting things that have been said by agents, talent coordinators, people in high-ranking positions, the things that they have said to female wrestlers about them not being pretty enough, not being skinny enough, not having a big enough, not a small enough butt, or not a big enough butt, not having abs.
Who's ever said your butt's not small enough?
Multiple people.
You maybe.
I've heard that criticism all the time. That's why I'm flat butt Manning right now.
So
your butt depends on the decade, though.
Or narrow butt Manning, depending what circle you're running in.
Yeah. I think flat butt Manning has a better ring.
That's what I feel like too. But narrow butt Manning also
that sounds like you're narrow, but you're also Manning.
That's kind of a Midwest thing. That's more of an Ohio thing, but definitely flat butt Manning is an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just all these awful things, and women told they will never have a job because of those things. That all of a sudden Nia Jax, they're like, oh, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
And they're blindly like, oh, we're definitely okay with that.
We've always been okay with that. Well, there's nothing new.
Exactly. And we've always been okay with that. So there's kind of a little bit of a feeling of...
So we have her.
Of, fuck you.
Yeah.
What about all these other women you slammed doors in the face of? But because this girl's the Rock's cousin, oh yeah, come on in. Oh, we've always been progressive. We've always been cool with people that are different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that feeling when I see Nia Jax... And I try not to put that directly on her, and I try and direct that towards the people that have acted that way that are still employed there. And or in positions of power in wrestling in general. That it's like a little bit of, fuck you. What gives you the right to be put in that position? So that's usually the emotion that gets drawn up, but I try not to put that on the person. I'm glad that Nia has these opportunities.
Yes.
I think she does very well.
Does earn them and deserve them.
But then there's also another part of me that I've heard stories about people telling her to be exactly like a woman on the indie scene, like, copy and steal all of her moves. So when she says be your own person, it's like, oh no, some agent told you to basically rip off somebody else's
Yeah.
gimmick on the indies who I actually like and respect.
I know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of those feelings to it too, but she's The Rock's cousin. She's going to be okay in the business, and she's doing great. And if she inspires people, great.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it. So
what's crazy is like you're saying all these things. I don't know anything about WWE, the history, the origin, nothing. Like nothing at all. I didn't know who Nia Jax was. I didn't know she was related to The Rock's cousin. I didn't know anything at all.
related to The Rock's cousin, so she's a cousin of a cousin.
I mean, she could also be, if she was also The Rock's cousin, she could be related to another cousin of his. But
Yes.
That's how cousins work.
yeah.
Touche.
I was trying to call you out and be a dick. I apologize.
Just assuming that The Rock has more than one cousin, which I also don't know.
I mean, there's Samoan, brother. They're all cousins.
Yeah, everyone.
But go ahead.
So I don't know anything about anything. But when I was watching that promo, I was like, nah, this isn't... You're selling me on anti-bullying and anti-body shaming. You're just getting away with bullying and body shame. Like, I don't... None of it felt... From just a person off the streets, none of it felt sincere. I was like, no. You found a large girl. You wanted to have her fight smaller girls, but you knew you couldn't sell it like that. So you said, oh, no, we're supporting all body types is what was happening.
So when we shit on that here in a little bit, remember that we're putting them in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, just... just... It was... So that was a little weird. Yeah, it was just weird. I was like, no, WWE, I don't know anything about you, but you're lying to me right now. This is, I know what that feels like. This is...
I've already suspended my disbelief for this Miz and Seth Rollins match, and now you've brought me back into something I can't buy.
So that's like, ugh. But, that's my thought on that. So
Okay.
someone who knows nothing about it and someone who knows a lot about it had the same opinions.
Okay.
Match was decent. Like it was a good match.
Well, I feel like their WrestleMania match was so good. It's hard to follow that up.
From that?
Yeah, where you go from
I think one of the most genius things from this is when Bliss hurts Jax and she's down on the ground, and there's no way that Bliss can get her back in the ring, and the count's getting ready to go down, and she's freaking out because she can't stop. She can't win by not getting her in there, but she can't get her there because she's too small.
Yeah, and
Jax, that was just a really good play on the angle and the way she's selling that. Not wanting the ref to count more because I can't win the belt that way.
Exactly.
Which I thought was just really, really good. So I love a good Samoan drop, but I don't like when she'd get her up there every time and would just take her sweet ass time to finally do it. I just like the Samoan drop to be kind of catch go, out of nowhere. It's like a desperation type deal. And it took so long every time for her to try to climb up the ropes to do it that it would just kind of killed it every single time they went for it. I'd just give her the straight Samoan, which eventually she does. Just a regular one. And then, does the job. I don't think we need all that tease to it to take sweet ass time to do it.
But she does take a hell of a bump on the outside. She commits to it because she's young. She's new in the business. I can take that crazy bump.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll take 10 body slams. No problem.
Cool.
Anything else about this match before we move on?
I don't. I feel like if I knew more about the art of pro wrestling, I would have liked the match more.
If you knew more about the art of pro wrestling, you would not be able to be on this podcast.
Exactly.
That's fair. I was watching. I'm like, what? No. This isn't I can't. I just can't.
It did not suspend the disbelief.
No. There was a moment. I feel like the point of bouncing off the ropes is as an elastic spring action for more energy.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss would do it and just sort of run to them and then turn. There was a moment where she ran to him, turned around, hopped forward, and slapped her in the face. I was like, why didn't you just slap her in the face? What was... I don't understand.
I need this projectile.
Yeah.
Man. I need a little bit of oomph from my butt.
She's a smaller girl. She can't create enough energy to
she doesn't have
spring
enough
back.
speed to spring. Okay, so use it in the slap. Don't... Yeah. I forget what exercise it is where you run to a cone, you touch it, you run back to a cone.
Suicides.
Suicides. I feel like that's what sometimes they weren't bouncing off the ropes, they're just doing suicides for no real reason. Just, her name's Alexa Bliss. That's a porn name. If that's not a porn name, I don't know what is. There's a lot of Alexas and Bliss. I mean, that's just two of those things.
It's just what I jerk off to, man. That's all I know. That's what I'm a product of my surroundings.
They kept using the word for what's her name, larger
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. They kept using the word powerful, when that's not really what they meant. Like, she's on the top rope. And
so it's like saying urban when you're talking about a black comic?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Kid's a firecracker. You mean Hispanic. Forget what movie it is, like the baseball. Oh, it's the league. You know, they talk about that kid. They call him a firecracker because he's Hispanic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Alexa Bliss. I'm like, that's D from Always Sunny. Like, so the whole time, like, D from Always Sunny is fight. What's Nia Jax is on like the second rope, which they kept calling the top rope for some reason. And Alexa tries to go for a flip and can't for obvious reasons. Yeah. And they're like, well, she wants to get for that flip, but Nia Jax just too powerful. I was like, that's not balanced. So that was, yeah. I don't, just various things I know. I'm like, I wanna, you know? Like, I wanna. And, like, there's a strong feeling of, like, yeah, strong women. Yeah, Wonder Woman. But then you got Alexa Bliss throwing a temper tantrum and things aren't going her way. I'm like, that's not what strong women do.
Well, you're not supposed to like her, so she did a job.
I didn't know she was a heel.
Nia Jax is the strong woman here.
Yeah, okay. She's a strong woman.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew, but like I didn't realize from a theatrical standpoint.
Listen, we're not going to opinion shame you here, okay? So
your
opinions matter.
Our listeners, who are very woke people,
okay. Said very woke people.
They're very woke.
This room is a safe space. This podcast, not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we don't have that many subscribers.
Oh, we have. Hold your fucking mouth, sir.
I just got him. 4,500 people are going to say, fuck that guy.
That's just on one website, my friend. So hold your mouth. We are on the rise.
Yeah.
And we're on the move as far as this pay-per-view goes. Match number 3, Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. And here's how I feel about this. I don't know why we still use the term X-Pac like heat. I feel like we should be using the terms Randy Orton like heat.
Yes.
Because we've seen Randy Orton on WWE forever. Now, granted, I have a term called Jake Manning heat in PWX. The fans don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm the opposite of heat, really.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Nobody boos, nobody cheers, but I feel like I'm doing some of my best work. And Randy Orton is an incredible wrestler, but nobody cares because I've seen him for so long. And in fact, this match,
he was 18 when he started, right? He was 18 when he won a belt.
Yeah, like he was very young. And actually, I was kind of excited to see this match because when I used to watch every single week back in like 07 and 08, Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy carried the company.
Yeah.
They were the bright spot. Like everything else was a mess, but the Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy feud in 07 and 08 was the thing that was fucking carrying the company. And the jump off the Titantron and everything that those guys did, like that was like a bright spot. So I was kind of excited to see this match. I'm like, oh, this is kind of like, this is a Legends match for me. You know what I'm saying? This is what people see when they see Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. You know what I mean? This is my equivalent of it, but before it really goes downhill. Like Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine now.
Right, yeah. And not like 10 years ago, man. Yeah. Now.
But what are your thoughts on this match, Brian?
So that's very interesting that you mentioned that. Before I came here, I went to brunch with my mother. She's in town for the week, and I left my notebook.
Did she backhand slap you?
She did not backhand slap me. Okay. She's never backhand slapped me, actually.
Allegedly.
She has front hand slapped me many times.
It's all about where you're facing.
There it is. It was never knuckles first. So
always palm.
Yeah. It's like, so you're getting slapped, but you're also being kind of like held for a little bit.
But caressed. It's like a second aggression.
Very brief, aggressive caress. So I don't have my notes on this particular fight. Can you give me any? Did they do anything unique?
Was this guy?
I think.
Yeah. And then the guy with like the paint all over him.
Paint.
The guy who did the flip and landed directly on.
Just crunched him.
That's what Jeff Hardy's been doing, and like right before the Hardy Boys went back.
Yeah, I gotta see Hardy.
Like right before the Hardy Boys went back, I remember like Matt and Jeff would be in opposite matches, like at Big Time Wrestling or Northeast Wrestling, and Matt would always be watching at the curtain, like during Jeff's match, and watch Jeff like just smush all these indie guys, and he goes, "Oh, that Swanton's a lot different what it used to be," and he would just laugh at motherfuckers just getting crunched all the time. So, yeah. That's what it is these days.
Bad service round, Cha.
I think there was one moment. All right, there was one moment when somebody said, "Was that the one with the 7 foot tall guy?" Or are we not there yet?
No,
we'll get there quickly.
So I just looked up. Randy Orton is 38 years old, which means he's been in the WWE for 20 years.
Yeah. He's been in, like, it would serve him to probably, like, they just like, hey, we'll let you work New Japan, have him have some awesome matches with Okada and Naito, and then just bring him around back once his reputation. But it's like he's just been around for so fucking long. You've felt everything about him. You're past any emotions.
And he's been on, like, Third Strike forever.
Like, he's redefined the like they've changed the system, and it's almost like restarting a count. On a count out outside. Like he's rolled in the ring and rolled out of the ring on the wellness policy so many times.
So here's my question: has anybody in the history of WWE, and I feel like I know the answer, but has anyone ever been disqualified?
Like how?
Well,
like counted out and stuff?
No, I mean like, oh, hey, stop doing that, you're gonna get disqualified. Has that ever actually happened?
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
Okay, like 5 times maybe.
Yeah, not as many times as you'd think. It's all referee's discretion.
Exactly.
Referees are very lenient. Okay.
So like, I'm like, there's so much hair pulling.
They're like a female comic who used to tour back in the 90s. They'll put up with a lot of shit. So you could be a total monster, but as long as you're funny.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the rule of law there.
Okay, good. It got to a point. I'm like, because I still had that question. I thought, you know what? This being WWE and not some rec center, it'll make more sense here.
Yeah.
Why is there a ref? You know, like that was my big question the first time. I'm like, okay.
Just pro wrestling in general.
Right. It's like there's a ref the same way there's a microphone at a comedy open mic where the room is so small that you really don't need a microphone. It's just...
It's there for aesthetics.
Right, it's part of the show. It has to be there.
Yeah.
No, but it's
holds
just...
the stand down.
It's just when you see them going, all right, you, one more whatever it is that you're doing right now, and you're out of here. And like, no, he's not out of here.
Anything else we can say about this match?
I've always thought Randy Orton was a fantastic heel. I love that. I love that he's never done the Indies.
Yeah,
and he's just always WWE and never anything else. And I love that he puts that out there and like shits on the Indies sometimes.
Yeah.
I love that. Real life heat. And then that Swanton was the highlight of this whole fucking match.
Just crunching the fuck out of him.
Yo, man. And you could tell, like, when he hit him, he's like, oh, god damn it. This is why I hate wrestling you.
Yeah, well, at first it's like, you see, it almost goes past. Like, it's like, oh, like, it looks like he fucked it up, but then you think, like, it keeps doing it more. Like, oh, no, now it's become more legit.
Now it's a move.
Now it's a fucking move.
That's why people don't kick out of it. Because it hurts.
They are done.
Yeah.
All right, so can you describe it so maybe I can see if I remember this move or not?
So it's... Randy Orton was laying down flat on his back.
Okay.
And then Jeff Hardy got on the top rope, and he did this thing with his hands.
Okay.
And then he just front flips and just straight lands on him.
Oh, I think I remember that. I remember how close
like full body weight.
Yeah.
I remember how close his face was to the ground when the flip happened. I was like, man, you really cut it close there. That was...
Normally, like, well, back in the day, it would be more like he would land with, like, his shoulders and neck, like, across the furthest side.
Right.
And that was kind of it, but that always would hurt him a lot more. Mm-hmm. So then,
so
he was still... Now he's just like, fuck
full
you.
Middle back.
I've been around for a minute, kid. I can do this.
So, but moving right along, we get to the musical segment. Everybody that does music on both brands.
Fantastic.
So
I knew you'd say that.
Oh, so good.
Okay, now here's my question. Was this the one with the guy with the guitar?
Yeah.
He was during this fight, right?
He wasn't in a fight. This was just that whole segment of him, like, getting ready to play, and then, like, the New Day came out.
I thought that guy was in the fight prior to him trying to play. Oh. I mean, white people look alike. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. No, we do. No, it's totally...
Say that a little louder?
Yeah. I said all people look... So,
I said all honky-ass crackers look alike. And,
all cisgendered white males look
yeah.
alike.
All you people.
Oh, you and... So, yeah.
Everybody go see Black Klansman this weekend.
I saw it. Spike Lee is very mad. But Jonah Hill's got a movie coming out. So, quick Jonah plug. Anyway.
What just happened here?
Are you trying to appease the white cisgendered males now, or what?
Here we are
is
trying
Jonah
to
Hill
push
cisgendered? I mean, like, is he?
We're trying to push some Spike Lee, and you're talking about Jonah Hill?
Well,
We're talking You Gotta
We
Have
already
It. You're
covered him.
talking Moneyball.
It's called 90s Kids. Go check
You get it. You guys are there.
What was it? Yeah.
I thought the segment was dumb, but it got a lot of people, a lot of FaceTime. It was a good break and kind of the monotony. Now, knowing what I know about the rest of the show, this totally could have gone a lot later.
Well, you could have axed all this, but then you're axing all these people.
Yeah.
And you're just doing this to get them on the card.
Well, but then in some of these matches, I talked a little bit ago about how it looks like we sit in a lot of moments way too long, where they could have cut a bunch of shit, and this show could have been 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. But yeah, you're right. This did take forever. This was the length of a normal match.
Yeah.
I loved it. I would rather all those other matches later on, when we get to the finish of the tag match in the semi-main, that took for fucking ever to kind of get to the payoff.
What got me with that, I was at this point we've been doing the show for I don't know, an hour and a half. And I'm something like that.
We're 50 minutes.
Yeah,
50 minutes.
not this show.
Yeah, we're probably about an hour and a half in. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, let's not make this a 3-hour podcast about a 3-hour show. Yeah, we're getting there.
We're tracking. And I'm getting a little tip. I finally figured out how the dots work, and I was like, oh, I could just skip the in between points.
I don't have to see this stuff.
Yeah, and I was tempted to do that, so I let's try it once. Skip ahead. I skip ahead. There's a dude in the middle of the stage with a guitar, and the lights are lowered. I'm like, what? I missed something.
There's a concert here.
So I go back, and now there's 3 guys with a marching band that come out. I gotta watch all of it.
This felt more like a Monday night skit, though.
Yeah,
it felt like it's better placed there. But I liked it. I just enjoyed that many people got that much face time. I like Elias.
Are there
skits?
Love
New Day.
Do skits happen a lot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a full-on theatrical production. So yeah, there's a good bit of those.
And every time he's trying, I was like, oh wow, they're doing a bit. This is like a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then anytime you can see Bobby Roode on TV is fine by me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather have matches, but this was a good break.
Yeah,
for stuff.
And you need that.
Yeah.
I feel like
it didn't feel forced.
No.
Everyone's place there was their place, and you got fucking Jose coming out here, and that worked out. I was looking for extras. I didn't see any. It just looked like some dudes they grabbed in the back.
Yeah, I didn't see any extras either. Yeah.
I enjoyed the segment.
Yeah,
it kept me, and it could it have been cut? Yeah, could have made the show a lot shorter. Oh, by all means. But I thought it was good.
But giving all those people screen time, I'm glad it happened.
Yes, I'm glad those guys got the payday.
Yeah, exactly.
Of all the people that deserve paydays, Rusev and fucking Elias and Rude, good.
Or just the screen time. Just the screen time to get over who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and that's kind of what WWE is, just we got to push out there, push out there, push out there, push out there.
And we got to see Titus and Uhaa Nation out of all that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So
we get them all in there.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Brian?
On this, on the skit?
Yeah, we were talking about the skit.
I was like, well, that's a thing.
Okay.
And then moved on.
All right, let's do that with match number 4, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
This is the one with the 7-foot tall guy.
This is the big one right here. And Big Cass is now on the Indies. So, Big Cass, what's your finish? And just let me know, and I'll be ready to take
big-time
it.
wrestling here,
Can we
soon,
circle
brother.
back one thing? I just remembered something that was
Yeah.
One of the individuals during the skit said, bootleg Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And a fan, I assume, went, ooh, got him. And I appreciated that very much.
One guy that really, really dug it.
Yeah,
Rusev called him bootleg Bob Dylan.
But they reacted to Bob Dylan, but not Bruce Springsteen.
No.
No reaction to
Everyone's
that.
like, no, it's too accurate. We can't.
No, I mean, not here. Yeah. Not in Jersey, you can't.
Exactly. So, But Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, I did have to appreciate Corey Graves' line where he said, if tanning is a skill, then Big Cass is one of the best of all time.
I didn't catch that line, but I was just about to say, as soon as we broke into talking about this, how fucking tan Big Cass was. Brother, that was the most inspired I was on this whole show. Like, man, I got to step my tan game up. This motherfucker looks fantastic. I've been feeling pretty good about my evened out tan.
It's pretty
But I'm leaving here and going to the tanning bed. So.
Well, maybe you need to start doing the diesel fist all the fucking time.
Well, then start doing it on the top rope and diesel fist.
Yeah, he's just diesel fisting like crazy, and that's what I call it, just diesel fist.
Name your sex tape.
I like the finish where it was like a slow build into the yes lock. I like it was a little slow getting into that, and that was cool. And then
Daniel Bryan just amazing.
Yeah.
And Big Cass has always been pretty good, man. Like, he's not the best guy in the world, but he always had his place. He always did well. Hell of a mic guy. Hell of a prick when needed to be.
Yeah.
He's just a very good mid-tier guy. He plays both sides of the ball well. He's utility.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting him over in Lexington, North Carolina.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's happening, brother.
It's happening.
Can't teach that.
Was this the fight where there was like a build-up kick involved? Everyone's like,
yeah, over there.
I was like,
the whole mess of kicks.
Like, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. You're on the right page.
That'd be a fun time. No, he's backing up. Oh my god! Yeah.
So. What are your thoughts?
On the whole fan, that's a tall man, very tall man. He's lifting him up and he's doing stuff. I'm like, that's pretty cool. The S kick, I was like, okay. See, like, here's the thing. At this point, in the show, I'm like, oh, this is what it could be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the guys at the beginning of the show, and when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is what I was afraid it might be. But like, when we got here, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's moments where I'm forgetting that this is allegedly scripted.
Allegedly.
You know, there's moments where I'm forgetting that this is production. I'm just like watching the fight, and I'm like, okay, cool, more of this, good. The way I relate to this, to all of this mostly is I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, you know, and that's, if you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is or have ever seen it, it's basically Japanese animated pro wrestling. The Japanese, I hear, are very good at pro wrestling.
They are.
So just imagine that ingenuity into an animated series where you can do whatever you want. Yeah. You know, they got faces, heels, heel turns, all the things I know about wrestling terminology.
I learned from Dragon Ball Z.
Came from Dragon Ball Z, yeah. And Dragon Ball Z, I'll get off that. Anyway, otherwise
this can veer into our Dragon Ball Z podcast if we needed to.
Do you have a Dragon Ball Z podcast?
Absolutely not.
Why? Oh, God damn it. I almost continued. Why haven't I been?
So then let's start talking about that now. So we got Vegeta here, man. It's fucking rad. Here we go.
Listen, it's okay. We can be polyamorous with podcasts. Yeah. I've got Tendo Pod, so you can go ahead and start your Dragon Ball Z.
Right here on the same one.
Yeah.
We'll just all start it out.
It'll be a Dragon Ball Z corner, and we'll relate which characters are which.
So let me tell you how big Cass is Piccolo, guys. I know 3 names on Dragon Ball Z, and I've just said them all right there. So I am done.
So you've already done your podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast's over.
I like how one of your names counted as 2 of the 3 names.
Yes, of course. You know.
Anyway, what was I? All right, so like
this is what it's supposed to be.
That's when I'm watching it, and I'm like, all right, I know that this is a thing, but it's so cool if this weren't a thing that I'm imagining it not being like it's actually happening.
This is a more believable.
Yeah, just some big dude throwing some guy around and then kicks and finish. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, all right. Okay. I get into this.
It looked like he was just boloing the shit out of Daniel Bryan. Like, just all the fucking just red, like, club marks and fucking chops. I don't know if it's just because he was super pale, because he obviously isn't on that tan game.
No.
Maybe that was the plan.
Maybe. You get it's a good contrast.
I'll get real pale, and then it'll show up when you slap me.
Yeah. It wasn't slap marks. It was probably just fake tanner coming off, but I still respect it.
Yeah. So... Anything else to say about this match?
Good match. It really sucks that he got fired like the next day.
Yeah.
I believe it was... He might have wrestled him on Monday, but he was gone by Tuesday.
Yeah. Wasn't too long for this. Well, let's move right along with people that are still with the company.
I must say, people getting ready to get fired.
People ready to get fired.
Hot take.
More people I'm going to be putting over in Lexington, North Carolina, maybe. Match number 5, the SmackDown Women's title between Carmella and Charlotte. This is the second women's match. What was your thoughts, Brian?
I enjoyed it more than the first women's match. I was like, okay, less porn starry, substantially less.
They had real people names.
Yeah. I was like, oh, she's from Charlotte. I think she's from this Charlotte. Kept calling her Queen.
This one.
The Queen City, which, fuck you, Cincinnati. We're the Queen City, and I like that we're putting that out there. So
I saw her doing stuff.
Stick to chili, bitches.
I think the not Charlotte person was Carmella. I thought was she a heel? She seemed heely.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, I thought, okay, she sucks, but I think she's supposed to. I think that's the whole deal. I wasn't asking myself, why don't you just sit on her? You know, like it never came up as a question. Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, okay, it was a fight. Still a little cat fighty, you know, like still a little.
Well, that's what girls, you know, you have emotions.
Girls fight with passion, guys.
Yeah, girls fight with passion.
What happened to gender equality though?
Well, I mean, they don't really want to put a dude out there beating up a girl.
That's not exactly where I was going with that.
No, that's where we go.
Because like
that's for the indies. I
guess I compare it to like women's MMA. You know what I mean? When I watch that, I don't think of it as women's mixed martial arts. I think of it as just another couple of people who I'd stand no chance in a fight with at all. You know, so the gender thing just goes away entirely. And I'm just like, these are fighters.
Yeah.
But, you know, in the WWE, I'm like, you got the long blonde hair.
Well, you take into consideration the fact that, you know, Charlotte Flair is supposed to be like this overly polished, great wrestler, but then you just have some Jenny from the block, you know, New Yorker girl. How would she fare in a fight against a girl that's just technically sound? She'd go out there and just slap the shit out of her and do what she can. And that kind of fed to the character.
Right. So that the narrative is something that I wouldn't have watching. You know, I would just be looking at it.
In small context, you would know. You'd have no idea.
And just be like,
which this is where I was like, God, these guys are sitting in fucking holds for fucking ever. Yeah. This match could have been 5 minutes and it would have been just as good. Fucking Flair has some of the craziest, like, smooth moves. Like that, like leg pick backbreaker type deal she does, and just a couple of other shit she did that was just so sweet. She had some like leg sweep pin maneuver where she like barrel rolled rather than sunset flip rolled. It was fucking sweet. And like at one point, like I was just legit like, I wish she would shut the fuck up. Like Carmella would just shut the fuck up. Like I was getting shoot angry, and I was like, oh wait, she's doing her job. This is exactly how. You would want a fan to feel, and if me as a worker who does this exact same shit can get in that way, then she's doing a great job. Yeah. And it really changes the dynamic of the match for me at that point, where I was just like, God, hurry the fuck up. And then when I was getting mad at her, I was like, oh, no, never mind, I'm wrong. And this is why, because she's doing her job. I'm telling her to fuck up because I'm angry. She's made me angry. I know the fucking score. I'm an idiot.
And I feel that Charlotte Flair is one of the top 10 best wrestlers in the world, male, female, and not to classify it like that, but just to say beyond all that, I think, you know, even in a group of males, I think she's going to be the top 10 best. Yeah. I think she's fucking great. Yeah. And like I said, Carmella does her job, and that's what it is. And we'll get into some more discussion about some, like, each one of these matches. We'll talk about the critics stuff afterwards,
which is why we wanted to do this.
Yes, there's each match has got their own little critiques. But I'm not going to go specifically in this match. We're going to run through this and what we feel, and then we'll talk about how everybody else feels.
And why you're wrong.
So I could say something right now, but I'm going to put it in a drawer. And we're going to bring it back out a little bit later. So
in that case, we can kind of fast forward to the next couple matches.
That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah. So we'll see how long
we'll hit the high notes on the good stuff and.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's there, it's there. It's not.
Exactly. Match number 6, we have AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I believe I got that right. Sometimes I mess it up, but I think I got it right. But Brian, what did you think of Nakamura's entrance?
Dude, I was like, this is cool.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Like, fuck all this other stuff. This is all right. I got the goosebumps. This is cool. All right, let's get into this. You know, like
this Asian man's about to eat somebody's ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheer for some reason. I don't know. This is okay.
And we'll start walking into all rooms.
All right.
Yeah, like it's pretty badass.
He comes in like.
You got to see his WrestleMania one with actual live guitar and everything.
Yeah,
there was like violins going and a choir, but it was rock at the same time. I was like, yeah. I'm digging it. Everything's red. I was like, oh, it's Asian Michael Jackson. That's what I wrote down. It was like his
100% what he goes for.
Yeah.
That's why he wears the red pants.
And the red everything else.
And he does he always calls his character equal parts Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury.
Oh, all right. He did it. Person who didn't know that picked up immediately.
Right away. There you go.
There you go. Doing his job properly.
Shinsuke just bridging the borders between wrestling fans and non.
Okay. What do you think of the match, though? It was an ODQ match.
Okay, I don't know what that means. It was no disqualification match.
Which means those refs that haven't been doing anything the whole time definitely don't have to do anything.
They're like,
which means those refs that haven't been doing anything in the entire time are gonna be the finish.
Yeah. So
no disqualification match. They're fighting. A lot of stuff happens. Dude runs out ring just to mess with the guy. I'm like, I like this guy a lot. You know, he's like. Just a lot of that stuff going on. Man, there were things I had written down, but I liked the fight. Was this the one where someone gets thrown through a table? Was it this one, or was it?
No, that's the last one.
That's the last one. Okay. This wasn't the one with the chair involved either. What was? I don't know.
Yeah, there was a chair involved because AJ gets busted up on the side of his face.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, that is the lightest chair that I have ever. It's made of like whatever ping pong balls are made of. It's sharp enough.
It's a real chair.
It's a real chair. Oh. But you know, like. It's just when I saw the speed that it bounced off of the guy, you know, like, wow, it's an aerodynamic chair. You know, like just
He just has real tough cheekbone.
I liked how he put the chair down. I guess he's not going to use the chair. And he touched it with his foot. Did he slip on that chair? And he threw him on top. He was like, whoa! He placed the chair. He was like, I guess
this is where this lives now.
So I was like, no, that was cool. That was a pretty cool time.
So you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Even the end of it, like
the end with where they just kept the quadruple dick kicks, wasn't it?
There was a lot of dicks.
You know what? On one point, I was like, that was dumb, but I loved just the uppercut and not the fist, but the bicep is what hit the dick. You know, like flex the bicep and the nuts, just ka! And the holds. You know, the hold really did it for me. And then the guy got him back with the same move. It reminds me of a Dragon Ball Z episode.
Just go about it. It went down.
But as a story. What'd you think of it?
As a story, I thought it was. I liked it. There's always somebody in every one of these, I think, that has a bad knee, and someone ends up hitting it. Okay. I don't remember if it was this one, but it was most of them. So if that happened, I'm like,
then this is where it goes. If not, that critique is meant for elsewhere.
I guess, yeah. No, it was just I did like the guy's his entrance was cool, and the second guy's entrance was not as cool. That was kind of. Maybe let the Nakamura come up second, you know?
Step the game up, kid.
Well, AJ's the champion. He has to come out last. That's what it goes.
Yeah.
I guess.
You're like, can't we just put the belt on Nakamura?
Yeah. Which right now he is the United States champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, that was, because it was like, oh, who's the next guy going to be? And it's me, I'm AJ.
Look like a soccer mom.
Yeah.
Don't like homosexuals. Allegedly.
What are your thoughts, Zane?
I am not a fan of AJ Styles at all. Never really have been. I liked him in TNA a little bit. Okay. So not a fan. So I'm automatically, it was a different company. Okay. So automatically I'm kind of out of it. Shinsuke, great. Does all of his stuff. Knowing the dick shot story that I do, I thought the finish couldn't have gone any other way. Yeah. And I thought that was a very good idea.
Yeah.
Just like, which is a lot to say about a bunch of these matches. Like a bunch of these matches, you couldn't expect Carmella to really just straight up pin Flair. Yeah. But the way they do it makes a lot of sense. Like these had really good, clever, well done finishes.
Yeah.
And so the finish of this was well done.
Yeah.
Like you don't really gain anything by having a clear winner in this match. Mm-hmm. So doing the double dick and the 10 count out.
Doing the double dick.
Doing the double dick, brother. Doing the Dutch rudder. It was the smartest way to do it. So I thought the match to me was kind of whatever. I liked him getting hit in the face with the chair. Fuck him. But I just the finish of this really kind of made the whole match meaningful to me.
Do you think they planned out the chair hitting him in the face?
Probably not.
No, probably not. But yeah, I felt like the finish it leads into their next match, which is the last man standing match.
Yeah.
Which is you're trying to get to with that.
Which actually on the way over here, this made me think about like just how it's if somebody shits on this, it's going to be because there was no real winner, but. A lot of wrestling fans have been given the instant gratification of things where, all right, well, here's the end of a feud right away, and then this is the end of this match, and it's done. No one really builds shit anymore to bigger and better things. And this definitely did. It builds to its next thing. Now, how does this get more... How do we make our way around them just getting a 10 count double dick shot? How do we get around that? How do we make it more and more for the fans? And I just thought that was a very clever and good way to keep it going.
Yeah, well, and I'll pull a little bit out of the drawer that I was going to talk about later, but I think it fits right here what we're talking about right now. Like, you're trying to build a narrative and a story to this feud with Nakamura and AJ, and everybody knows their great matches in the Tokyo Dome and everything else, and that's what everybody's expecting. But here's the issue on why we're doing some of the things we are here, is because AJ has the title right now. Mm-hmm. And... when you're dealing with a title, you can't... I know everybody's expecting, we should have a clean finish, and we should just, why can't they just pin each other clean? Why do we got to do this ridiculous? Because we're telling a story, and the story leads into matches. So you have to have... This is why I've always hated being a champion in a promotion. This is why I feel like my PWX title run was a failure, because there's all these things you have to tell as a story, and you have to... When you're involved in a storyline... You have to do these fuck finishes. You have to do these messy and shenanigan things to get over the story you're trying to tell. And that's the way it is a lot of times with pro wrestling. And that's what we see with a lot of indie companies. The champion's always involved in the main storyline, and he has the belt. So a lot of the championship matches don't really end in the cleanest of finishes. With AJ having the belt, basically, it's like you have to... you know, you always got to do something because you're not just going to put the belt right on Nakamura and then AJ's going to win it back and then you're back and forth.
Eventually, no one's going to give a shit.
You know, if we're going to armchair quarterback it,
yeah.
You know, if you want these clean finishes and you want to do like these spectacular things, it makes more sense. Like if AJ still wins the title, it wins the title match at WrestleMania, does the low blow thing, you turn heel Nakamura. Nakamura hits a low blow on AJ when he's defending the title. AJ loses the belt to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Nakamura wins the second match, clean. A month or two later, Nakamura wins the Money in the Bank, cashes it in, wins the belt. He's the heel champion, and then AJ wins it back on the third match.
There you go.
So and then we just
you've kept a feud going and not necessarily had to have the same two people in the feud. You have the person intertwining here and there.
Exactly, and you have clean finishes every time. Like that's ideal, but sometimes those moving parts of a big machine you can't make work like that.
Yeah.
So that's the only way that I see how you could have clean finishes in each one of these things and have them be classics, like in the Tokyo Dome. But when you're dealing with a story and a narrative and American wrestling, especially dealing with a title, these things happen, and this is just what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
is what it is.
Is what it is.
And they did the best they could with what they have.
Exactly. And they try and tell the story the best they can. So, whatever. But that's ways some people feel about match number 7. Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
I'm just glad Bobby and Kevin and Sammy are getting paydays. And Braun, you know, I don't dislike him.
Yeah.
But this match could have been 4 fucking minutes.
You know, I really fucking enjoyed this match.
Yeah.
This match, out of everything on the card, made me want to watch more WWE television.
To see how, like, Sammy and Kevin continue to interact with one another.
Yes,
now,
I fucking love. Like, it's such, like, southern shitty heel stuff, and it's fun and it's refreshing and it's new and it's their take on it.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because they're both Canadian.
So it's shitty Southern Canadian wrestling.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like it's their own take.
We're like the same South.
Yeah, but it's like the twist of something that's been done a million times over. Like this shit heel that's trying to avoid getting an ass whooping. How do they creatively do it with them being as athletic as they are and the characters they are and how they interact with each other? I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe some of the stuff on the after the bell rang.
So that's all of that time taking is what I hated.
Like, we could have.
The match itself was great. The aftermath where it's like, guys, can we get the fuck out of here, please?
Yeah, I especially at that point. Like, you could have cut that a little bit shorter, but the match and everything, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And I like the little story of, where he's talking about Sammy's had vertigo. I've had vertigo before. I've had spells of it during my wrestling career. I don't know how much that sucks. So, Bobby does all the work to cover up Braun, and
Braun's there for what he needs to be there for.
Exactly.
Love Bobby, so whatever.
Yeah. What are
my
your
best
thoughts?
friend, Bobby Lashley.
B-Lash.
B-Lash, doing the damn thing.
So at this point, I've been watching the show for maybe 4 days. And,
Definitely feels like it. And we're on the 3rd day of talking about it.
I didn't notice anything weird at first. I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm watching it. And it wasn't until the halfway point when I realized how much larger the group of people was than the other group of people. Like, insane. Like, this dude's 375 pounds or something, like bigger than what's-her-face from before.
Yeah.
And the other dude's he's just a bicep. Just a walking bicep.
One large bicep.
Well, and Kevin is not a small man.
No, he's every bit of my size.
Yeah, no, and I also noticed
2 inches taller
the much smaller guys were huge still.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of, like, on a smaller scale,
Dragon Ball Z.
It does now, but of the last show that I watched for this podcast, when there was a tag team and it was dad and son joined pro wrestling to save the rec center because then they had to face these 2 actual pro wrestlers. You know, the whole show was just dudes. It felt like just some guy in spandex, and then these 2 guys, 400 pounds of all muscle, no bones, just muscle. And,
just another 2 big biceps.
Right. So I was like, is that just a thing in pro wrestling where the tag team towards the end of the show, it's 2 schlubby guys fight 2 huge guys and lose, obviously? Is that...
I mean, you're making it sound like a convincing argument.
Okay. I mean, small sample size. 2 shows. Fair enough. But
yeah, but your opinion matters.
To be on the exact same point in the show with the same dynamic.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe that's just what they do before. All right.
So you say if this would have been earlier in the show, you might have accepted it?
Well, I wouldn't have drawn a pattern as much because it's like identical, just on a smaller scale.
Okay.
You would think they were putting these two schlubby guys out there just to go ahead and get them out of the way for the better guys to come in.
Right. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just a warm up show.
Match guys, match one guys.
Yeah, but for this one, I was just like, oh, maybe that's just how
all semi-mains go.
Because I don't know.
Well, you want those different body dynamics, you know.
It took me a while. I was like, man, this guy he's just been outside of the ring doing nothing.
Done shit
This whole time. I was like, I bet she's gonna be pacing the ring towards the end, like, put me in, coach. You know, like one of those. And that's the whole point. You want to see him get in there.
I love that Bobby Lashley is supposed to be the heat guy.
Yeah.
Like there's like Bobby Lashley's your Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
Big ass Bobby Lashley is your Ricky.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And I like Sami Zayn's character here.
Yeah.
And it's it's incredible to know that he's so athletically gifted. Like
Goddamn good in the world.
He is, as far as body control, like he's the guy I always point to. Like he has the best body control in anybody I've seen in professional wrestling. And Kevin's great, and I love the character. Like this match made me want to see more of them on
Their
WWE.
chemistry together, yeah.
Nobody else on this show made me want to see more of them. I'm like, okay, Charlotte Flair's still good.
Yeah.
AJ's still AJ.
Ain't shit changed.
Nakamura's entrance is so awesome.
Haven't missed a beat since Mania.
Seth Rollins is still doing better than me in life. Great, grand. But no, I was like, I really want to see more of these guys. Like, and
what's
see this.
Been happening
what's
since?
been happening? What's the story? How's this unfolding? I'm digging it.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of what you need after like you get the main event and the title match and all that stuff. And we are now getting to the main event, which is match number 8.
Oh wait, we forgot.
Did we?
The big dude was chasing after the little dude, and there was another little dude in between the big dude and the little dude, and the big dude just ran him over like a
Oh yeah, that was a real good spot.
Because normally that spot is you clothesline the person.
The guy that got knocked down would have been the one to throw clothesline.
And I wouldn't have believed it.
And that's what I was saying. Like their interpretation of
Memphis.
a Southern heel tactic in a spot, their interpretation and flipping it around because of the circumstance. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, that was fucking
I'm
awesome.
going to steal that from them.
Of course.
You're going to see that at a tag
We're going to
team
be doing
match.
that soon, buddy.
You and I are going to be doing that very soon.
True.
That I thought that was brilliant. Because that's just a take on an old spot and refreshed because of the circumstances they're in right now.
Yeah.
Loved it. Brilliant.
Yeah, great.
One of my favorite parts of the entire
You're
show.
right.
Hands
100%.
down.
Yeah, like when he came for him, I was a little bit afraid that they were going to do the clothesline. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you're going to lose me if you do that. And then when they didn't, I was like,
Yeah, totally.
great.
Like, I mean, Kevin, you're a big boy, but there's no way you should be bumping Braun right now.
It seemed like he didn't even hit him. Like, and that should be like a fake thing, but it was believable. I was like, no, the wind from that guy knocked him over.
He just got winged by a car.
Like, just the edge of his shoulder hit him, and he flew to the ground. Like, no, that would happen. That's how that would go
legit.
down.
That
I
shit
get
tracks.
I'm glad you brought that up. Someone who's a non-wrestling fan and somebody who is a pro wrestler himself and a fan of professional wrestling, and two of those, we all agree.
That's
Great
amazing.
spot's great.
No,
That's great. Awesome.
Fantastic.
But speaking of something different, match number 8, Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, I was waiting
brother.
for this the whole time.
I
Wait,
mean, they
thoughts?
built it up enough.
Can I get a picture of Roman Reigns? Because I had something for him.
He's also related to The Rock.
Is he not related?
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
said
I
it,
mean,
not
like I
me.
said, they're Samoan. If
That's
you're
fair.
Probably related to The Rock, so that's kind
So
of
we
how
have
it
any
works.
Samoan listeners out there, please message in and tell us how you're related to The Rock.
Yeah, please. Listen, if you're related to The Rock, I'll send you a t-shirt. If you can give me the Ancestry.com proving that you're a cousin to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you are definitely getting a t-shirt. From
The
the
big dog.
So DJ Khaled versus Aquaman comes up. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly what it is.
All
The
right.
whole time, like, DJ Khaled's going to fight at the end of this. This is great.
This is the one where I goes to the table immediately.
Joe's
Right
like, we the best.
So, although I thought this was very ironic, I watched this match, I believe, Friday night, which was also when Ring of Honor tickets went on sale for Madison Square Garden, and I was scrolling through Twitter during most of this match, and I was reading all that stuff like, oh, Ring of Honor and New Japan just sold out MSG. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I look up, and there's Samoa Joe main eventing a WWE pay-per-view, and I go, oh, this is very ironic.
It's very apropos.
Yeah, very apropos. So, anything else we can say about this match?
That match happened. Good for Samoa Joe for getting the main event.
Agreed.
Love him.
Were you guys not a fan of this match or something?
No.
Oh.
Were you?
I mean-
Don't
Well-
let our we misspoke.
I just
us giving our opinion before you was far out of character. Was
fine.
not right. No,
Go right ahead.
Because Roman Reigns is meant for the casual fan. Like that's the build guy. Like this.
Well, how about we do this? Okay. I like what we did with the Nia Jax Alexa Bliss match. Why don't we let Bryan speak and then we'll give our opinions? How about
Go ahead.
Because they're both cousins of The Rock. Yeah. If you're a cousin of The Rock,
that's the way we do the formula.
We let the guests start and then we give our opinions.
Well, the way I did that one was I said, "Hey, what do you guys think about these guys?" If you recall, because I was like, before I start talking about these ladies, let me just go ahead and read the room.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on these two individuals?
Okay, let's reverse it. Let's go back to what I said before. What are your opinions on Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe?
Samoa Joe is amazing. Fantastic guy, fantastic worker. I understand the necessity of Roman Reigns. They put him in a spot that everyone fucking hates him being in. Like, the fans shilling him constantly. He does not let that deter him, and he continues to go on about the way he is told to go. And good on him for doing that. I think he could be better utilized as a heel, since everyone fucking hates him already. But, good on him. He's going to go down in history as being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So who am I to argue?
Okay. I will agree with all those points with Samoa Joe, except for maybe one of those parts.
Yeah?
I haven't had too favorable interactions with him. But at the same time, too, I'm the low man on the totem pole, so there's no reason to be nice to me.
Okay.
So I will leave it at that. And that's why usually when I meet somebody that's left WWE, or is of the stature of a Samoa Joe at the time that I met him, TNA World Champion, I am understood the fact that they will probably not be nice to me, so I will just avoid.
Okay.
So there might be even a little bit of like, who's this fucking guy? Mm-hmm. So I understand that as well, but at the same time too, the brushing up against the shoulders got rubbed the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's the nicest thing I will say.
Okay.
Because he's probably a nice guy and probably
But wasn't to you, so fuck him.
Exactly. But like I said,
can't talk on it.
I'm usually at the bottom of the totem pole whenever I would be in a room with him, so there's no reason to be nice to me.
So if somebody's going to get shit on,
just respect as a human being is a reason. You're a person.
Not in wrestling.
No,
I'm a commodity.
Oh, you're cute.
Yeah, you're cute that you think. Didn't we already go over this, the anti-bullying thing? Did we already go over that?
Not everyone in wrestling is creative.
Okay.
Here's Martin Luther King didn't have a dream in the Wrestling Federation.
No, gosh, no. Rest would be a union.
Yay!
And we all know how that will work out. So,
Vince McMahon will have you killed.
I know, especially as he might confuse me for Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yep.
So, here's my opinions on Roman Reigns. And I'm glad we get into this now. I will state my opinion on Roman Reigns, and this is how I feel about Roman Reigns. Everybody's like,
you have a house phone?
Yeah, what is? I wasn't going to say anything in case it didn't get picked up, but what the hell?
Yeah, we have a house phone.
Does it have like a curly cord and everything?
No, and it only rings for telemarketers. That's the only time.
Why do you have
bundle savings on your cable package?
We'll talk about it off mic.
Okay.
And let's just say it might disappearing sometime soon.
Is it like your 911 emergency phone?
That's
is that a direct line to the mayor?
That's kind of.
It's the bat phone.
It's a bat phone.
He just doesn't really do a good job of hiding.
It's Roman Reigns. He knows I'm
He's like,
hey,
hey, it's the big dog of the yard. You talking about me? Hey, Jake, this is Samoa Joe. You talking shit?
God damn it, Roman Reigns.
Is this a landline? It sounds like a landline. You would have a landline.
He's cold calling fans.
Are you currently happy with your your wrestling provider? What's your thoughts on the big dog? You know me, Roman Reigns. I gotta go. Have a good day. Anyway, so Roman Reigns. This is the longest podcast I think we've ever done
in a while.
Yeah,
but definitely. I mean, it's a 3-hour show, so what do we expect?
Yeah. All right.
So here's my thoughts on Roman Reigns. It's kind of, I don't know if this is a conscious effort. Although, if I was involved, I'd make it a conscious effort. Mm-hmm. When he comes out, it's a big reaction. Yeah. Because you have half the crowd booing, half the crowd cheering, much like Cena. Mm-hmm. And
who I think is the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah. There wasn't always a consensus.
Oh, of course, you're right.
And people were always screaming, when are you going to turn John Cena heel? When are you going to turn John Cena heel? When are you going to turn John Cena heel? Because it was building to that point, much like with Roman. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody's like, oh, they're not going to turn John Cena heel because too many Make-A-Wish and all these other things and all the other things. Where that's not similarly the case with Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, though. people have an opinion about him, and they voice it every single time. And I feel like if you turned him heel, not everybody, he's not going to have the same reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you position him, like, I feel like he's going to have that heel thing, and that'll eventually dwindle. But the fact that you're waiting and figuring out when they're going to turn him heel, when are they going to do this with him, like, that constant frustration of, like, when are they going to do this with him, makes you pay attention to him, and it makes you, most importantly, have an opinion about you.
One way or the other, regardless.
Because think about Randy Orton, how many times he swung from babyface heel, babyface heel, babyface heel. And
they show him do it on this show specifically.
And they've already felt all the emotions about him, and now they feel nothing about him. Where I feel like if you have this constant thing, when are we going to turn heel, when are we going to turn heel with Roman, you do the same exact thing you do with Cena, and you just keep pushing him out there. He's going to keep having the biggest reactions on the show because you have half the crowd booing, half the crowd cheering. I think that's what you want, is people to have an opinion about you. So I feel like this is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they consciously know that, because Cena was the first guy to do that. And I think that's another reason why I think John Cena is great and a trailblazer, is they kept that line of, no, I'm just going to come out and just deal with this. You know, half the crowd hating me and half the crowd liking me, and I'm just going to go out and just be me. And I think that's what they're trying to do, the same exact thing with Roman Reigns, and lead him on that same exact path, which obviously positions you as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You know, people have arguments about their in-ring ability, but remember when Roman was in the Shield, people were like, oh, it's Roman Reigns, he's really awesome. Like, I remember people feeling that way, like, Roman Reigns, he's going to be next world champion. I'm really happy. Because in a six-man tag situation, especially when you have people like Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose teeing you up to just run in and do some your best stuff, then obviously, you know, you're going to look great every single time. But when you have to put together a nice long story and you're just by yourself, it's going to be a little bit more limited. But, you know, people for a long time like, he's going to be the next world champion. As soon as they made him a singles, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact
you're giving us what we wanted? Suck a dick.
Yeah, I think the most important thing in professional wrestling is for people to have an opinion about you. The idea of, oh, this guy's a heel, this guy's a babyface, people will argue that idea has gone away. I still think it exists. But I think there's a newer line, which is this line of Cena and Roman Reigns. People have to have an opinion about you. That's the most important thing. As somebody who has... People have no opinion about him at PWX and other places. Like, I just wrestled in Florida, a new place, and they wanted me to be babyface, which may not have been the best direction, especially coming in a new place dressed as a overgrown Boy Scout. Like, I probably should have been heel, but I felt like I could have been okay as a babyface. But people don't know me, so they want to laugh at me, but I'm trying to get over with them. So they're like, there's this weird feeling of like, I don't know how to feel about you, so I don't care about you. People obviously care if fucking Roman Reigns is in front of them.
Yeah.
Either fuck you or I really like you.
Yeah.
And that's what you want as a performer, is people have an opinion about you. And you look in where we are as a culture, you have all these people that, oh, I fucking hate this guy, or I like this guy. Look what it did for our current president. People had an opinion about him. It pushed him out there enough. There's basically like every news story about this guy being fucking crazy or saying this was like free advertising for himself.
Yeah.
Every time, I guarantee Roman Reigns, every time it comes out, it's trending on Twitter, social media. Because people are like, fuck Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns, or when are they going to do this with Roman Reigns? There's going to be a reaction, and that's what you want. The worst thing as a performer is for people to have no reaction to it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, very good. All right, follow that up, Killer.
All right, so here's what I thought.
So let me tell you nerds what the case is.
Hey, that you know what's for.
It was pretty good. So cool.
Honestly,
that's it.
I had notes, but I don't think they're quite as profound as your manifesto.
Your rhetoric on the dealings.
I got a goddamn manifesto. I don't buy it.
The soft villain, soft here, I don't know. Gray areas, man. Ambiguity. So, what I thought was, I've been waiting for angry DJ Khaled to come out for 3.5 hours now. Okay. Well, technically 3 hours. But, I was looking, he's a lot of build-up, right? He's saying things like, oh, he sounds mean. And so I'm thinking, what's his intro gonna be like? And you know what? Maybe it was just as good if you were there, but if you weren't there. Now, let's compare this to Nakamura.
Oh, man.
All right, so both of them, right? A lot of build-up, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Probably both related to The Rock somehow.
But from cinematography, from just a production standpoint, Nakamura, you're in his face from on low, and there's this huge backdrop behind him, and he's larger than life. You're like, what's happening? You know, that's what's going on. For Samoa Joe, he comes out, and it's just a wide shot. And they made this huge man look tiny. So it's like, doom, doom, here he comes. And he's just like right there, and he's just walking out like, hey guys, here I am.
Just wearing my shorts.
Now. I'm like, well, that could have been cool. It wasn't. I guess it was. Like the build-up.
No, you're right. No,
it was like a lot of build-up to just like, hey, I'm a dude. I'm here.
Yeah.
That's what you get. I'm like, all right.
I do feel like this is kind of a. I mean, I don't know the backstory of what they've been doing with Roman and Samoa Joe, but it did feel almost like a lackluster main event. Like as far as like,
they've been doing.
It's Roman. We got to put him in the main.
Well, there's been more with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And Roman, especially 9 days earlier.
Yeah,
so this is just like a situation like just throw Samoa Joe out there. You know.
I think there's more candidates on this card to be main event, but
it was something where like I saw him, I was like, oh, he's a big guy, but I bet he's like a big guy who can move a lot. He's gonna do a lot of crazy shit that you wouldn't think. I was like, well, kinda.
I mean, did that suicide dive?
Yeah, it was more like a lot of I'm gonna pick you up, toss you, I'm gonna do a little slap you around here, and I was like, okay, I guess.
More of the technical work, keeping him grounded. But I got put through that table though.
Oh yeah, he did get put through a table, so I was like, okay, there was that. I appreciated that.
I mean, it was good enough as a main event.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's sideways about Samoa Joe particularly.
No.
I mean, obviously, I think isn't he like Samoa Joe? I think he's wrestling AJ at SummerSlam. Yeah. I think that's gonna, considering their chemistry together, could really
TNA brother doing it 10 years in advance.
Could really turn a lot of eyes, and you know, it's not gonna hurt him. I mean, he's still gonna be positioned as a top guy. So that's kind of how I feel about it too. It just happened.
It did, yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think everybody kind of knew that. And I think the booking committee and the people planned it this way because, like I said, this is just after Mania. They were in South Africa and Saudi Arabia.
Canada. They listed all the places.
Now they're in New Jersey, and then they're going to be taking off for the UK and Europe. And it's just a stop on the road.
On the show, yeah.
And I guess maybe it kind
of... Over-the-top house show, really.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it kind of felt that way to people. I don't know. Maybe that's why there's such a bad taste in people's mouth. But at the same time, as somebody who travels and it's like, what the fuck do you expect?
Not special.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like not
sometimes
everything.
You're a fucking stop on the road. Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, here's another thing too, and this was bringing up to a point that I had circled earlier. It's like this show is WWE's in the business of content, not art anymore. You know, we're not. Art is created out of competition, and there is no more competition, especially at the level and the height that they are right now. They just have to keep producing content. So people will keep their $9.99. That's like any like big movie studio, and we just gotta, we have our tentpole stuff, and we just gotta keep churning and churning. Like this right here is a comedy that stars, Bradley Cooper. Yeah. Like that. This isn't like a Marvel movie or a Star Wars film or a Pixar movie. No, this is just a small comedy. Or just an action thriller with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. Like that's
How dare you speak ill of Jennifer Lawrence?
This movie's Red Sparrow. Okay, like this isn't like the new Bond movie.
She in Red Sparrow. I don't actually know that much about Jennifer.
See, that's exactly. That's kind of what this is. This is just producing content, and there's no limitations on how long to go. There's
clearly.
So there's no need to be super creative the way that some of the people my age were like, oh, why can't it be like the Attitude Era or during this time? Because they had limitations. They had issues. They had things to work around. Now, as the WWE, they have no limitations. They have nothing holding them back. So it just turns into churning out content. And I think that's why Vince McMahon and a lot of the people that are there enjoy the high school atmosphere of the locker room because it fabricates competition. You have to have some sort of competition when you're just the biggest company in the world and making all the money, and you're the identifiable brand for professional wrestling. When I say I'm a pro wrestler, they go, oh, you mean like amateur? Like, no, like WWE. Oh, you do WWE. They don't say pro wrestling. They say, I do WWE. And that's just kind of what it is. And that's how I feel about it. That's kind of what this show is. But everybody still thinks that they need to have an opinion on this.
What are those opinions, Jake?
Let's get into those opinions. Let's start with the biggest one, Dave Meltzer.
Oh, good.
Old Dave Meltzer said, other than the Rollins and Miz match, this has been a really bad show. And he even, to quote him, the show was so poor that one of the hottest crowds of the year didn't even react to Braun Strowman's big move.
What, a power slam? Come on.
He didn't even say power slam. He said big move.
Big move.
And I didn't realize that was our barometer, was what Braun Strowman did.
Yeah, just him doing a power slam.
Yeah.
Because they reacted the fuck out of Bobby Lashley's spine buster.
Yeah. So maybe maybe New Jersey crowds are hip to what Braun Strowman is.
Maybe.
So
maybe they don't give a fuck about him in New Jersey.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's that North Carolina tattoo he's got.
Maybe that's what it is. And then Meltzer went on to say that Nakamura and AJ was disappointing.
You've seen them for so many years in the Tokyo Dome, and then here in America we've done a good bit with them.
Yeah.
They can't fucking create something brand new every single time.
This match
has to be some downs.
This match is to push along the story.
Yes. There's some valleys here, not all peaks.
If AJ just beats Nakamura clean, then there's no reason to have a rematch. Unless he does some heat afterwards, but that's what you just did at Mania.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to have Nakamura win the belt? And then AJ win it back? Like, we're not ready. We want AJ as the champion. And okay, whatever. He went on to say that the tag match was a mess.
Which one?
The Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Yeah,
you're right.
It was a mess. Said Charlotte and Carmella was hard to watch. And it was athletically dumbed down.
Okay. We cover people's weaknesses and we put their strengths on display.
The thing is,
so should Charlotte just go out there and just fucking ran circles around her and made her look like shit, and then we just have a fucking terrible match that no one wants to watch?
His logic would be, why don't you put out someone like Sasha Banks out there and they just go out there and they kill it? I'm sure that would be his logic.
Yeah. Well,
even though
there's other people in this. We pay a lot of other people on this roster.
And if you just keep doing that every single month, and good workers just don't appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When they come together and they lock up and they wrestle each other, it's a special thing.
Yeah. And
we have a lot of other people here that need a little bit of help and push and a little bit of push forward. That's what Carmella is. It's a new face. You got to have new faces all the time.
You have a straight heel.
Yeah.
And something that people dislike because of the way she became champion.
Yeah. I'm sure that was a critique that Miz faced a lot in his career.
I'm sure Meltzer shit all over him tons of times.
Tons of times, and how his matches were athletically dumbed down. So, let's see what else. That's pretty much what Dave had to say. CBS Sports. Brian Campbell and Adam Silverstein, or Silverstein, maybe.
Bernstein.
It's a real,
What was that word?
Nelson Mandela effect. So, said the fans left annoyed. They also made mention that they were disappointed in the AJ Nakamura match. They said that the low blow was comedic and disappointing for the men's skill and standing.
Because he wasn't standing after.
Yeah, standing in the company, I believe is what it meant.
Yeah.
And I already covered how I felt because it's a title match.
Yeah.
And titles, in American wrestling, they have to have these big, long stories. And you just can't have pins. And the reason why you could have clean finishes and not a lot of the story in Japan is because I understand it's an athletic competition.
Yeah.
Here,
it's not looked at as in the same vein of
athletic competitions. Like the Patriots can lose to the St. Louis Rams in the regular season and then win the Super Bowl and then be viewed as a better team.
Yeah.
In America, that's not the case. We're more about the story and understanding and the big moment. So we that's the thing. We lose sight that the Patriots lost to the St. Louis Rams in the first Super Bowl that they won. We forget about that. We just worry about who won the Super Bowl. Where more of a Japanese, like, oh, they win this and then you understand that. That's how I understand logic. And they went on to say that Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass was brief and rather pedestrian.
Now you're just using words I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's making me mad.
That's true. That's at least 4 or 5 syllables.
Yeah, you can't. That's not an adjective.
To which I said, what do you expect? Daniel Bryan just came
Yeah.
back.
He's been out for like years, all broke necked.
Yeah, and we're just trying to work him in slowly
Yeah.
to see if he can handle this shit. What do you want him to
You
go
want
out
him
there?
to cripple himself again with this jackass?
Yeah,
that's gonna get fired in 2 days.
Or you just want him to go in there against AJ and like, hey, go have something that the Tokyo Dome would fucking want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. This is the early part. Like, when I think about Bruce Pritchard's podcast, when he was talking about it was like a whole year's process just to get Mr. Perfect back into in-ring shape, and he was wrestling Doink the Clown, and they were doing time limit draws.
Did you say Doink the Clown?
Yeah, slowly building him to get back into ring shape. That's like, oh, we maybe can get him as a main eventer again. But it was like months of a build. You know, I think that's what we want to understand is getting in that in-ring shape and that shape that you need to be, and also too, is his, you know, like, that going to be okay? You look at Andrew Luck, who just came back.
Yeah.
I mean, he took like a very pedestrian tackle and got up and started high-fiving people because it was like on the shoulder that he hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, I can take that hit.
The that Redskins rookie they just signed, first preseason game, like very end of the game, blew his ACL out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Dude, do you want Daniel Bryan to do that? You want to go out there and just go balls to the wall in a show that doesn't not mean anything, but isn't, you know, it's the come down show. It's the backlash of all this big shit that's just happened. You want to go out there and break his neck again, and he's out indefinitely now?
Or you want to work him in slowly, get some more matches on, get some distance.
Get a couple more years out of him.
Also, too, give him get a couple matches. Maybe we can get him going, get some new merch, kind of put him out there and slowly start grinding. Then we maybe get to a point they're like, hey, we could probably rely on him for the long term.
And what if him and, you know, when we see they had enough chemistry together, what if this is something we put a little bit more time into and we build this bigger? And now we have Cass and Bryan at a bigger show, you know? I mean, it's all possible. You figure out other things about it. It's not just give us the best. Everybody give us 5 fucking stars. It's stupid. It's ludicrous.
Well, the Baltimore Sun, Aaron Oster, I believe his name. I think I missed a vowel somewhere in there, but I think it's Aaron Oster. I think I got it written down. I wrote it very fast. So the pay-per-view was lackluster, no title changes, no meaningful story moments. Even though I feel like this moves along the story of Carmella being women's champion, this moves along Nakamura and AJ's story. I also feel like this moves along the dynamic of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Also, too, you're having just a great match with Seth Rollins. It just proves the point that because he's basically coming out and saying, "I'm the best IC champion. I'm a show stealer." Like, and that's kind of his story. Is I have great matches.
Yeah.
And you had a nice little story of The Miz going, "I'm gonna be this."
No, I am.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm held this Intercontinental title so many times, and I'm about ready to set a record.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You push along Roman and Brock, even though Brock's not there. The only thing that didn't have a story or push anything was Orton and Hardy.
Yeah.
I mean...
Even this whole Elias thing that goes on and on and on, it's still set up for a story the next day with Bobby Roode and everything else. Yeah. So, USA Today said the fans were stunned and fuming that Reigns was the main event, not the title match. The Baltimore Sun also agreed with that.
I don't think the crowd was fuming. They did not act like they were fuming. But I do agree that something else could have been the main event. A title match could have been...
But when you know what the finish of the title match is, you know why that's placed there.
Yes.
And see, that's the thing. Like, you could say that, but you don't want
Would
the fans...
you rather go home on a dick kick, or would you rather go home with your big baby winning?
Yeah. With the guy that's getting the loudest reaction
Yeah.
in the arena. What do you want to do?
Because then you just shit all over it.
Yeah. But at the same time, too, like, you could have just put Seth Rollins and Miz in the
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Which I think at Extreme Rules, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, they were putting the main event because who the fuck's going to follow that?
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's... Well, maybe they listened to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gave my opinions on Rollins. Then I watched some YouTube stuff where...
some YouTube reactions.
YouTube reaction where they made a whole video that
where the
said...
fucking smarks get to start talking.
Where on the Russell Talk, where they named... Like, literally, days after the pay-per-view, they said, worst WWE pay-per-view of the year.
before
the year is even half over with.
It's the fourth one.
Yeah.
This is March. Or May, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so they mentioned the stuff about Bliss beating up Nia Jax for 90% of the match, and he shit all over the anti-bullying stuff, which we already give our opinions about. He shit on the musical segment. I think we
count for taste, big guy.
But at the same time, too, like he came to the same conclusion that we did. That maybe it was more of a Raw thing, but at the same time, too, it's a 3-hour show.
We gotta fill that 3 hours.
But like I said, goes back to my argument. We're generating content.
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, I got a 3-hour show on a Sunday night, I'm gonna keep this $9.99.
Yeah.
And I already got like the greatest Royal Rumble 9 days earlier.
Just thrown on here for free, and then I just finished Mania, and this falls in my month from Mania to now.
So why not make it a 4-hour show?
Yeah.
And we might get to that point.
Yeah.
AJ Nakamura, he was upset there's no weapons in the beginning of the match. But we got Extreme Rules coming up. We got Money in the Bank coming out.
Yeah, but it was just no DQ. It wasn't
Yeah.
Extreme Rules. It didn't say anything. It wasn't a TLC match. It just we have been talking about dick hits. This is the whole base of the story is getting hit in the dick, which is illegal, which gets you disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that card is taken off the table, so there can be a different way of winning.
Mm-hmm.
It's not he's been cheating with a chair this whole time. He's been cheating by hitting me in the dick.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be gratuitous to bring in weapons. It would make no sense.
And now they both couldn't answer the bell, and now we're going to be at a last man standing
Yes.
at the next time, and we're pushing a story along. He went on to say on Wrestle Talk, they said the tag match was the most frustrating, and said that WWE doesn't get Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, where, fuck, if this is what I'm getting, I want to see more WWE TV. I love it. That was great. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
Joan Reigns, he was just mad about all the rest holds. So, which we can kind of agree with.
Yeah, no, I've said this the entire time there was a ton of rest holds.
No, so we all kind of...
I like that the random fucking YouTube fan guy had better thought process than the big-named...
Baltimore Sun,
CBS,
USA Today,
Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer. Yeah, Wrestle Talk, I think he was fair. He was very hard, but I feel like he was fair.
Yes.
At the same time, too, he's going for clicks, so
Minus
obviously...
the worst pay-per-view of the year.
But he's going for clicks.
Yeah, of course.
I clicked on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got millions of viewers because he labeled it as such. And he could read the temperature of how fans feel and could say that extreme thing, which is what our culture is now.
We're all clickbait.
We're all clickbait. So I clicked on it, and he was actually quite fair for somebody who titled his YouTube clip, Worst WWE Pay-Per-View of the Year. So... and agree with a lot of those things. But, like, this goes back to my whole thing of them being the largest brand. We have CBS Sports, Baltimore Sun, USA Today, and a YouTube clip that's probably seen by millions of people. What do you expect here?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about the social. Brian, you as a non-wrestling fan, were you... Now... I'm a very busy man, and I don't have a lot of 3-hour blocks of time to block off, and I'm sure you're a busy man as yourself. Right. So the 3 hours thing, you could probably agree.
It was a commitment.
It was a commitment.
I split it up into 2 days. So.
Yeah, but
I did too.
As a show,
4 or 5
as
seconds.
a piece of entertainment, as a non-wrestling fan, what were your thoughts and feelings?
As a piece of entertainment, I would have gone to YouTube and looked for like a highlights video.
Okay.
And maybe like a 10-15 minute highlights video. I would say there were 10 to 15 minutes of like, wow, this is cool in there. Let's see. Or I could commit myself to a lifetime of fandom of pro wrestling to understand the subtle nuances of narratives.
But I don't want you to. I want you to enjoy it as entertainment.
Either.
Yeah, I want you as entertainment. Though you did enjoy.
Were you entertained?
Yeah. There were times when I was entertained. As a whole, I did fall asleep a couple times during like the last fight.
Okay.
It was just like, I don't know. You wake up, you're like, he's on the ring. What happened? Oh, nothing. He's not gonna. Okay, he's coming back down.
And this also admitting to you being here is you're not a wrestling fan.
Right.
So I mean, just the fact that it could entertain you at points or draw your attention at times.
Now I feel like I have an understanding of the appeal. You know what. Pro wrestling is far more real than animated cartoon characters fighting each other because they're actual individuals and chairs happen and people bleed. So that's a thing. It's like I get it. It's just like it's whatever need that fills in people. I'm full. I got it.
Yeah.
I've got that from other sources. cool stuff, cool moments. I feel like it'd be different if I were actually there. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like it's an experience.
Right. Like seeing NASCAR on TV versus being there. I've heard like, oh no, I don't care who you are. You go to a NASCAR race, it's a good time.
Yeah, that's how I feel about NASCAR. The way that you describe how you feel about pro wrestling is how I feel about NASCAR.
Yeah. So if I were actually there, probably, like I wouldn't watch. I can't say that. I was gonna say I wouldn't watch a monster truck show on TV, but I probably.
No,
would.
I totally would.
I would.
Fuck yeah.
I was lying.
But they are way cooler in person.
Yeah. So loud. So as a piece of entertainment, I'm like neat. If I had to rate it, I would rate it as neat.
Okay. Does it make you want to see any more pro wrestling?
In this context, like a
3-hour show
time from no.
But would you see?
He would watch more wrestling if it meant he got to do this podcast again.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
But if he didn't watch more wrestling, he'd still be all right.
Yeah.
But like, would you like? Does this inspire you to go? Oh, it's on every Monday night. Maybe I'll watch 10 minutes of it.
Maybe I'd see like some Nakamura stuff, like see what the Japanese wrestling scene's on.
So it would lead you down other paths, just not necessarily WWE's path.
Yeah.
You might go look at more Nakamura matches, and you'll see Japanese stuff.
Right.
Let me look at other Japanese stuff.
It's not too entertainment dense for me. I'm like, that was cool, and then 10 minutes, and then that was cool, and then it's like I was born in the 90s. I need sort of a constant stimulus.
Gotcha.
Bit of a drip going.
Okay.
So yeah.
So pro wrestling gift files on Twitter, maybe. How you
that'd be great. That's great. I need pro wrestling vines.
All right, Joe K, get ready, buddy. We got your new fan coming.
Yeah, exactly.
15 seconds of pro wrestling.
Just nut ass shit. Hell yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give you a Twitter account you can follow, and it'll just be nothing but just crazy stuff.
15 seconds of people doing just weird ass shit.
Yeah.
And occasionally some guy in a mascot outfit jumping off the top rope.
Falling off stuff.
Just falling off stuff.
Check out this. Is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's just you on the top rope.
Doing your best nod jacks.
Pretty much. Zane, what are your thoughts on the show?
It was a stop on the road. But what it has done for me, personally, like I like you said earlier, I don't watch the current product. And it's not because I'm just some indie wrestling snob, because I don't watch anyone's current product. No. I just don't watch a lot of wrestling. I have other shit to do. I do wrestle, so I see that. I watch the wrestling of the shows I'm on, but I don't go out and. I mean, I watch my Joe K files. I watch that. I read about it on the internet or whatever, but I don't sit down and watch it. Seeing a lot of this stuff though, as much as I've seen people like shitting on the product on like Facebook and stuff, and all these armchair bookers and whatnot about how shit should be handled, I was entertained by this show. And I will most likely watch SummerSlam because of everything I saw here. Not all of it was the best stuff, but I don't feel that the reactions and reviews that fans and whatnot are giving it is a proper indication of what's actually happening. I think there's a bunch of really good, smart stuff going on. I just don't think that. I think people are reacting with knee jerk and not thinking about big pictures and stuff like that. So this show is going to make me want to watch more of the current product of WWE.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. I echo those sentiments exactly. Like I'm probably gonna watch SummerSlam because of this show because I want to.
I'm going to make it a point to watch SummerSlam.
Yeah,
not just I'll catch the replay. I'm going to probably sit down Sunday night at 7 and watch the pre-show, watch the fucking deal.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it, and I've always said this, and because I've always said this to people when people are like, oh, I was a fan, I haven't really. It's like, and I always tell people like, you need to check back in.
Yeah,
I've been nothing but a supporter of the current product, even though I don't consume it, because I've said to multiple people that the current product, in-ring product, is the best it's ever been.
Oh yeah,
you can critique the storylines all you want, but like I said, it's content. It's not art anymore. Some of those storylines were pure and absolute art.
Yeah.
Like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rock Austin, some of the Triple H stuff, the Mankind stuff, a lot of that stuff, pure art. Because there was this competition.
Yeah.
But as far as
it was written to be, where nowadays I think it's more the individual wrestlers are becoming the artists.
Exactly.
And they are putting forth art that's not pre-produced for them by a higher being. Like, okay, here's what you're going to do. All right, well, this is what I'm going to do in the midst of all that to make this art and be an artist.
But I would say the in-ring product, as an art form, that art of what people can do athletically in the ring, that is where the true art is being made right now. Not maybe necessarily some of the promos and the storylines, but I feel like what is happening in the ropes, That is the true art that is being put out by the WWE, and that's the best it's ever been.
And they're the WWE being more open to letting these people do more stiff strikes to the head, or at least what looks like it, more thigh slapping, independent wrestling,
high spots, top up maneuvers,
which
suplexes.
You would normally get.
Yeah, we didn't normally get. And
you didn't get that 3-4 years ago.
Well, and
here it is.
For a time, they were hiring ex-football players, ex-MMA guys, tall guys.
Bigger the better.
Tall guys they saw on the street one day. I believe there was even a story like that. Now you are taking people that have dedicated their entire lives to professional wrestling in a Sami Zayn, a Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and they're putting them at the forefront, and they're not disappointing. Because they have, there's a passion, there's a knowledge of what's going on in the ring and things you can do, spots, maneuvers, all kinds of things. The in-ring product is the best it's ever been right now, and it's amazing to see. And this doesn't let me down in that whatsoever, you know. And there was a time when it was all storylines, and people were bitching about these story. You know, we need one more in-ring product. We want more. Here's a name for you. We want more Benoit versus Angle in the ring, 20 minutes on Raw.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want all this stupid hokey stuff with spraying milk on people. We want more just wrestling.
Yeah.
You're getting that right now. And you got it in a 3-hour show.
Yeah, you got a lot of it in 3 hours.
And now we're complaining about the storylines. When I think 2003 was a pretty fun time for storylines.
When the Attitude Era was nothing but storylines, and a lot of the in-ring shit was kind of garbage.
And even yeah, exactly. And even like you look back at ECW, you look back at those storylines, but then you look at some of the in-ring product, doesn't hold up quite as well. No. And I think if you even take 2003, where I think that bridges the gap between storylines and in-ring product, I think that's as close as you can get as a happy medium.
Yeah.
I don't think they were doing as big a business then as they are now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I think this one.
So guys, stop being so goddamn picky about your wrestling and just go out there and
just
love
appreciate
it and have a good time.
I think there's a thing that every fan goes through. So I understand if you're like, fuck these guys for trying to do. Fuck these guys for being a WWE apologist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, please. Fuck us if that's what you think.
But at the same time, too, I think everybody goes through this as a fan.
Please.
You come in, you watch it. Oh, this is what I like. This is the type of entertainment I want to see. You get into it. You start learning more about it. Then all of a sudden, you start having opinions about it. Then all of a sudden, they start doing something that doesn't jive with your opinion. You get mad about it. Then you get cynical and bitter, and you get angry about it. And then
join the dark side.
And you push through that and all the negative comments and all that stuff. Where I went through that as a pro wrestler. Like, it should be this, and should be that, should be this, should be that. But then all of a sudden you just get to a point and you really just kind of see the bigger picture, take a step back, and it's almost like starting again. And you become almost anew, and you look like, oh, this is pro wrestling. This is what I love. And you might find something that's like, oh, this is like the way it used to be. But if you don't zoom out and see those things, you'll miss it. You'll miss that opportunity to look at professional wrestling as you did as a child. And that's how I look at it right now.
And that's how we all got here. Just watching the WWE or WCW as a kid. We watched it, got in, and now that you're older, you're going to be more cynical about this bullshit. Like, this is what happiness was for you at one point. Like,
and this is...
You're making yourself not happy on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get in there. Enjoy it. Have fun.
You're seeing Seth Rollins and The Miz just kill it. You're seeing guys... do some really great...
Seeing some legends.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing a legends match of Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. You're seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn take something that had been done for years and hit their own little spin on it.
And make it new.
You're seeing somebody like Samoa Joe in the main event of a WWE pay-per-view. You're seeing Charlotte Flair, one of the best professional wrestlers today, have an awesome match.
And all you want to talk about is how... a match was a little disappointing because there wasn't a clean finish.
Because guess what? She's going to have more matches.
Yeah.
She'll probably have hundreds, maybe even thousands more matches that you're going to get to enjoy. And there has to be some 2s. There has to be some 3s. You're going to get some 9s and some 10s. But sometimes there's a 5.
Sometimes you got to have missionary sex before you have all the other cool shit. You know? It ain't just...
Is that Gandhi?
Yeah, man, it is. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Well, we've almost been here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
We've covered this.
Thank you for letting us get off our soapbox. I swear Brian's still here.
But we don't... Yeah, we don't cover new wrestling. We haven't had opinions about it, so this was all fresh.
This is the newest thing we've done.
This is the newest thing we've done, so I felt like this is basically all of our opinions on current wrestling. So when people ask me about opinions about what do you think about the product today, I'm just going to point to this podcast now.
Watch it.
This covers everything, but what we need to cover right now is, Brian, do you have any...
So many.
Performances. Good thing we went on this whole diatribe, so you have time to pull it up on your phone.
Good thing
performances, social
media. Hold on, let me find
it. I had so much time. I sure do.
I know what you assholes were talking about. Yeah. But I was just smiling and nodding.
A lot of man. I was like, hey man, that fan is on low setting, isn't it? All right, exactly. So, I have coming up here on August, August the 12th, I've had This Get Booked with Jake Manning. It's a podcast where we talk about...
Give it a check and a listen.
Check that out. Definitely follow, subscribe, however that thing works. I've got, do you know where... darn it, Tim. Anyone know Tim Johnson out there? You should. He's a really funny guy, and I will locate the show.
You're doing 12 Acres? On
12, is it Aru's? What's something? Wine Room? Well, yes. Probably yes. And
you had all this time to be prepared.
I was so captivated by your thoughts and emotions. You guys got very passionate about the whole thing. The show is, and I'll tell you right here in just 1 second. Oh my gosh!
You're flipping through your Instagram right now.
Holy shit!
The listeners at home don't know that.
Are you just doing like a random search for Charlotte comedy? And
Did you search your name?
Like, I think that's what you're doing.
I swear to you.
So what, Zane? Why don't you tell everybody?
We'll come back to you.
We'll come back.
It's gonna be really upsetting on your end because I don't really have a lot coming up on purpose. I'm at a place in my life where I'm kind of figuring out my next moves in wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of, do I want to keep taking these shit shows and whatnot? Or am I going to try to get a couple more years out of this?
No.
I'm not going to do either. I'm just going to quit. I'm going to just leave my boots somewhere, and people are going to think, oh, Zane forgot these boots. No, I just quit. I have AML at the end of the month coming up in Winston-Salem. Next month I have PWF in Hubert, North Carolina, outside Jacksonville, and then Queens of Combat. And then we'll have Big Time Wrestling in Spartanburg, September 21st, Spartanburg, South Carolina. And then that'll bring us back to another AML show.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, sure. Here. I got Arugis or Aruhis, I'm not sure. Wine Room, August 17th show. Shows at 10 p.m. show. That's where that is. That's the one that's coming up. And then, it's the 17th. Then on Wednesday, I've got a show at D9 Brewing. That's at Cornelius. D9 Brewing. Come check that out. D9 Brewing. The Artesian of Flat Rock. It's just south of Asheville if you're out in the Asheville area. I got that on August 24th. That one's at 8 p.m. And then I've got the Idiot Box show, August 28th. That one is also at 8. You can find me on all social media as The Penn Project. That is the PENN Project, all one word, on Instagram, Twitter. I am never on Twitter.
All right. Okay. Well, for me, since we're all giving the dates, I got a couple right here. If you listen to this in a timely fashion, this upcoming Sunday I'll be at PWX in Concord, North Carolina, and then August 24th, 25th I'll be with Northeast Wrestling. And then on the 26th, I'll be back with PWX. On the 26th, that'll be a ballpark show. I am doing some comedy festival September 7th in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. I'll be posting about that. And I got All Organic Comedy Show at the Evening Muse September 13th. But for a full list of all my shows, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ManScoutManning. Hey, if we fucked anything up, or like I said with the reviews or anything like that, get up with me. DM me, if you wrote a review, or email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com, or DM me, or just follow me on Twitter. How about you do that? Just follow me on Twitter or Instagram at ManScoutManning. Also go to How Did This Get Booked on Facebook. Make sure you like it. I've been trying to push it on the likes, and also I do a lot of updates on upcoming shows, but I also do a lot of that at howdidthisgetbooked.com, which is where you can get a t-shirt if you just want to buy a t-shirt as opposed to just write a review. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud. Also, too, I got another podcast called 10 Bell Pod. Do the same for all that. Do all the same, but no free t-shirts for the reviews yet, but we will be getting to that very soon. Hey, I might even do a thing before then where I'm like, hey, you get a How Did This Get Booked t-shirt for writing a review for 10 Bell Pod. Not at that level yet.
But we're not far.
We're not far. But anyways, this has been another very long edition
Ooh.
of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo.